Hello, everyone. You have entered the corner, the rookie corner. Leave your shoes at the door and your troubles behind, because when you're hanging out with the rookie, you're going to have a dang good time. How's it going, everybody? I got my special guest with me today, Nerdrotic. Gary, what's up, man?
How's it going? I should take my shoes off. Should I take my shoes off?
Yeah, you're supposed to leave them at the door, man. That's the rule.
Here we go. Shoes are at the door. What's up, everybody?
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, this is
I'm just kidding. I just got back from the gym.
Hell yeah, that's a great way to start the day. That's the way. And we got a lot of people already waiting here. I'm going to address them real quick as we go. I'm going to pull it up on my phone. A lot easier than just cranking it up that way. So a lot of stuff happened in the last couple days, it seems. But we'll save the juicy YouTube related topics for a little later in the stream when we'll get a bigger panel coming on in here. So just saying hi. We got Julie from Wished Upon a Vlog in the chat. What's up? Mary Mayhem, Proper Jeremy, Darth David R, Eskimo No Phono. Okay, what's up, man?
Eskimo No Phono.
First time listener over here. What's up? Got the Red Gaze, the Price is Right reviews, Patriarch of the Sith. Nobody puts Sithy in a corner. Nice. And then we got Darth Tico and Simon Wild. What's up? Thundercats HD. How's it going, everybody? It's going to be a fun stream. We're going to have a big panel later on, but we're going to start off with some news about another YouTuber, Lethal Lightning. A lot of people know about him, and his YouTube is gone. His Twitter's gone at the moment. But he's okay. I emailed him. He just left Twitter for the moment. He's an Australian, and with his work and when he's trying to his main audience is in America, and he just said like the time constraints and everything was affecting his job and whatnot. So he thinks that there's a lot of great YouTubers out here too that get the news out on time. He's glad to have met everybody. He'll probably make another Twitter, but he's not so sure about when. But he'll keep in contact at some point. So rest assured, he's doing good. And now, Gary, so you're a little channel that is an up and startup, I assume, right? And just kidding.
Just starting out, making my way. Got a couple of subs now, and just putting out content. I do it for myself, basically.
Yeah, well, that's good. Well, you want to tell my audience what you do? What's on your channel? Yeah.
Well, I got to do the quick pitch on this. So I am from Nerdrotic. I am a former comic shop retailer. I started a podcast because I missed talking to customers every day about nerd stuff. That was it. That's how we started. Had a couple of co-hosts, went through them, kind of like Spinal Tap drummers. And now it's just me. And I talk about, I didn't want to talk about this stuff at first, but I talk about all the politics and agenda that has been put into our mass market entertainment. I simply want things brought back into the middle. I still would like to see both sides looked at evenly, people being respected. But it turns out that it's turned into by elevating some, you need to crap on others. And that is something that has never changed about me throughout my life. So it seems like the politics have changed around me. Mine haven't changed. Doctor Who was something I loved, and now I don't. It's not because I changed. So, and that's with many other things. And it is, I don't want to call it fan advocacy, but I'm a fan. I'm not above you or below you. I am just a fan looking out for the fans. And that's what fed my family for 10 years in San Francisco, was respecting the fans. And if you respect them, you can actually hear opposing ideas a little better. And it's an amazing thing. And you find out you get along a lot easier, and you find out that we have more in common than we have not in common. But that's division seems to be what Hollywood wants. So I'm certainly going to point that out whenever I can.
Oh, I completely agree, man. I completely agree. Just about myself, because I don't think you and I had a full conversation yet. We were on the Peter Mayhew stream, which was great. Loved that. That was great. But yeah, so about me, like I started my channel basically because I love film, and I live in the West, but I'm Northwest, so there's no film areas around me. There's no schools, no education. I mean, there's maybe in Portland, there's some filming businesses maybe, but I can't get there right now. Don't have a car, so I was like, how am I going to learn? How am I going to learn? So I just bought a little camcorder, got a cheap editing system, a tripod, and go. And then just starting to film where I can, little skits of me. I'll play as every character and, be like, have fight scenes with myself and whatnot, have commentary a little bit on reviews, interweave that into a review that I'm trying to do. So that was how I started. And I've learned so much, man. That's mostly why I'm here. But man, ever since I jumped onto this as well, I've learned so much more about the pop culture and entertainment in general. I mean, The Last Jedi was the main one that clicked the bells for me, that I'm like, what the hell is going on? What? And then just started to notice more and more. Started following channels like, World Class Bullshitters was one of the first ones. Then I came on to Geeks and Gamers, EVS, a lot of other people around. I came around to you I think when the Tribunal was starting around with Doomcock on his channel. You were on
yes, the Tribunal. I was on that. We did a couple of those, and they have scheduling. The scheduling's a tough thing, and that's when I was working full time for Tesla, and I just couldn't commit to anything at that time. So it's kind of my fault, but sorry.
I totally get that. Me, Black Angus Reviews, Flipp Doubt, Geoff TheIronWolf, and Sith Kryptonian, we all were all starting to live stream around the same time. We all found each other mostly through World Class Bullshitters and through the High Council, basically. And then we're like, okay, let's try to have a group. The Founding Fathers. We'll try to do this. We'll try to stream once a month or something. All 5 of us. Hell no, that's pretty hard to do. But we're trying to figure out some type of compromise where we can, because it's hard for us all to be available at the same time on the same day that's scheduled. Because all of us have different things going on in our life. I'm the only one on the West, so the time zone just gets all wacky, all funky. So totally understand that.
It does. I love the West, the Pacific time zone. I think it's the best. But the people on the East Coast don't. That's too bad. But yeah, no, it's good. That's why the High Council has grown. And by the way, just for the record, I'm not offended at all that Ethan, and I'm not being sarcastic. Ethan needs to sleep. He's working very hard. He just bought a house. He's doing a comic book. I understand why he couldn't make the High Council. I know I saw some people pop it off, and I know it's all in good fun. But no, I'm truly not. I love EVS, and I love what he does. So.
I don't know if you heard his following stream in the morning. He was like, what if I had he's like, it's basically like if I had a High Council jacket and it's like a shot of it in the trash and he's walking away. And
I heard.
Create some drama.
Yep, I heard.
I was like, watch somebody make a short story about EVS leaving the council and Nerdrotic's the new guy coming in and taking it.
The council is EVS, Jeremy, and Geoff. That is the High Council. I am but a humble guest once in a while. Yes, but I got you. I heard that. I heard his song. He mentioned my son. That was pretty funny.
Yep, that was great.
My son thought it was funny too.
That was
yes.
Awesome.
Uncle Ethan does rock. I can't call him Uncle Ethan though, Mary. I totally understand, but because I'm older than him, so I just EVS. He's EVS to me, but I understand why people call him Uncle Ethan. And hello, Mary Mayhem. What's up?
Yeah, Mary, she is awesome. Yeah, we got Kay, who's also a Thug Life Jeremy, wished upon a vlog. Right, Kitty. And people are coming on in. What is up, everybody? So I think there's some stuff that's happened the last couple of days. You see, about X-Men or the X-Women?
The X-Women, yes, I am aware. Yeah. I put in my video, and it's made the rounds now, that the producer, Victoria Alonso, the executive producer, has been around for a long time for the MCU, said the same thing in an interview, and it was unprompted. So it's certainly, I'll agree with the assessment that was probably a reshoot put in later. For them to come out with that particular clip right on the heels of the Captain Marvel clip tells you everything you need to know about Disney and what they're up to, and what they're up to with the marketing. And honestly, we play a part in it. We play a small part, a very small part, but they want the division. They want this because it helps the marketing. It helps put butts in the seats. And nobody's going to watch X-Men. I can go look right now, and I bet you there's still, I did it on my video yesterday. Only 24 tickets had sold for the 7 p.m. show today, which is at, perfect time. Everybody's out of work, and a big theater that usually sells out for all the Marvel movies. And yeah, as of 24 hours ago, only 24 tickets had sold. I doubt it's much different now. So yeah, we know why they're doing this. And I used to joke back in the 90s. It goes way back. We've joked about this on live stream when they're going to drop the gender specific superhero name. Spider Person, yeah, that's the X people, or they'll probably call it like X Factor would be my guess, because that was the first official non X-Men book was X Factor, so they could probably use that, or X Force. But yeah, I certainly think they're running it up the flagpole to see who salutes, and this is just proof of the craziness. It's just a title. It's X-Men. We don't think it's a male-specific thing.
Well, that's kind of the thing. Like, I grew up not really into comic books. Honestly, EVS is when I learned that they still actually print comic books today. I actually didn't even know that. I was like, oh, I thought people just have them from the old days. Okay, so they do, and they're around. It was just the X-Men, and not ever did I think, just when I first heard it, X-Men, like the TV or the movies was pretty much when I first heard about them. I would say I never thought, oh, it must be all men. It was like, no, that's just the team. That's just the team, or what they call the mutants are all in there. It was never about what's between the legs. And I don't know. I just watched the trailer for the first time right before the stream, because I didn't actually see it yet. And I kind of thought it was a boring trailer in general. Style was just like, okay, again, all right, whatever. And then she's like, oh, and by the way, you should be called X-Women. The women save the men around here all the time. And I'm like, what does that matter? Even if they did, are the males not heroic at all for trying to save people still? Like, what? I don't know. That's really seemed kind of stupid, because that's never what it's been about in any of these. It's like, you try to save anybody anyway. I grew up watching, or I didn't grow up watching, but I pretty much grown up where women are strong in a lot of movies that I watch anyway, but it was never shoved in the face. Dark Angel is one that I look to all the time for, like, a strong woman character. She gets her ass kicked a lot, and some men are strong, or as strong as her, if not stronger, but sometimes she wins, sometimes they win, whatever. Sometimes there's another hero that's on par with them, but it's never about women save them. It was just, a good person's doing a good thing, and so are you, or something. It was never about that stuff. But
no, this is about sowing division in between men and women to make a voting block, or whatever you want, whatever theory you want to use. You're probably right at this point. Yeah. It was never about that. It was never about this stuff. And it's just a sign of an affluent society when we can parse this stuff and argue about it. But it does play into a bigger picture. It does play into a much bigger picture that we're seeing play out, and we'll talk about that later with YouTube and everything else. There's something definitely going on, and it's becoming clear every day.
Yeah, well, I almost wonder what it would be like. So let's just say that, okay, we just let them do what they want. Let's just pretend that in the fictional world, they get their way. It's all women now. What would they do?
Yeah, that's a great question.
If they made the movie they want completely, they had every single factor done, what would that do?
What was your what is your end game with this? Well, we're seeing it. What they want to do with Time's Up is and Me Too are a reaction to some horrible men in Hollywood, some foul people in the Hollywood culture. Hollywood culture thinks that culture, like the general culture of America, is played out within Hollywood. They think they're normal. It is not a normal scene down there. It is actually the worst of the worst. I have said before, I will say it again, my 2 years working in Hollywood, and I've worked in the auto industry, the comic book industry, a lot of industries. I've done blue collar and white collar work. The most racist, homophobic, sexist place I've ever worked was Hollywood, period. And people treated like crap. At Technicolor, it was not unusual to see somebody crying.
Wow.
Openly. And like, it's just a crazy, it's filled with like little fiefdoms, little dictatorships. And you have to kiss the ring a lot and kiss the ass to make it anywhere there. And I just didn't fit in to that culture at all. So I left. And it was, God, I'm glad I did. I thought I wanted to work there, and it just wasn't for me. And they tell you, it's like, it's not for everybody. It's not. And it really isn't. That being said, though, there's still a ton of hardworking, good people there. It's just the way the system's set up. It's horrible.
Of course. Well, now I'm glad that you brought that up, because, like, I personally am someone who wants to be a film director someday, but I never, until recently, have been thinking about how the way that the culture is right now, how the entertainment industry is right now. If I were to, like, try to be one, what would that really entail? Because in my mind, it was I get to try to make, a good movie. I try to make a movie that I want. But now it's like, well, how would that work with the way things are going right now? Would I be extremely pressured by people who help finance or anything to be doing it a certain way? Would I have to have some type of requirement in it going forward? I don't know. I'm trying to think about the way that would go going forward, because, like a movie like Blazing Saddles wouldn't be made today, right?
No.
Like clearly it wouldn't, but it's like, why not though? I mean, I know that people don't like it, but if that could be released, I don't understand why something would be pushed or would be hidden so much.
The thing is, you have to compromise so much. So when you go there as an artist. You like, I want to create something and I want to share it with the world, but we need these gatekeepers and these producers and these financiers to help me do it. So every time you get one of them on, a compromise is made, and by the time you get to what you want to do, and this is after years of kissing a lot of ass, meeting the right people, being friends with the right people. It's called strategic friends. That's all there is in Hollywood. There's no real friends. There's strategic friends. Basically, I'll be friends with you and I genuinely like you, but you have to like lead me somewhere. You have to open a door for me, or I really don't have time for you.
There has to be a benefit of some kind, to pay off at some point.
And it's just filled with that. And it's not unlike the world of drug dealing, and it's not a world that I have been in. It's exactly the same. It's a lot of compromising your soul, doing a lot of very nasty things. And that's what led up to the Me Too Time's Up era. We are now so by the time you get there, Rookie, whatever you're making, it might 1% of it might still be there. You are in the best era of all time to just do your own stuff. F them, F Hollywood, do your own thing.
Yeah,
it might not be, and actually you might find out later that it's financially much better for you. Yeah, it's going to cost you money to make stuff, but once you start making a name for yourself, you want to avoid and building a platform here on YouTube is the smartest way to go. It's much better than getting some producer who's going to want you to make changes. And most of the producers in Hollywood, they throw around their money for power, or the financiers in Hollywood. They throw around their money for power so they can have movie stars kiss their ass, producers kiss their ass. They don't really care if they're making anything good or not. They do it to have their name put on the movie, get some notoriety. It's basically buying fame. And I know that's a very jaded and horrible way to look at it, but that's it. I mean, it sucks. It's terrible. And people will, God, willingly walk into this stuff. And it's compromising to your soul. It really is.
I'm starting to see it like that too. I mean, when I exited high school, I kind of had that idea of like, yeah, I'm going to be there someday. But ever since I started YouTube and I've been doing my own thing and learning more from you guys and about entertainment and everything, I've been wanting to do more independent stuff anyway. Like, as you know, like I'm working on my own skit trilogy right now, and I keep on calling it a skit, but I mean it's really kind of like a movie because it's going to be 3 hours long. It's going to be broken up into 3 videos, and I'm really trying to get into this as much as I can. I'm putting all that I can into this project, and I even had somebody make a whole cover for me. I mean, I'm going to show that right here because he did a great animation on that for The Rookie's Quest. And it's
nice.
It's basically like, it's me and my skit characters, that are there. I mean, they're turned bad. Kylo Jeremy is like my main foe for fun. And then there's like NPCs are like part of the enemy. And there's like nega reviewers and just a bunch of crazy stuff. And like I have to fight them. And I use, YouTubers are helping me with this. So like I'm trying to that's why I'm trying to contact a lot of YouTubers to say some lines for me or to do a few things or two so I can, have them involved as well. Big YouTubers and small. In my Rookie's Test trilogy, which is like my first attempt at doing a huge collaborative effort with other YouTubers, when I had 200 subs, I got 49 YouTubers to have a cameo in it to participate. And that felt really good. And like I'm in that mindset of director now. Like I want to like work with so many people and I want to do more with what I can. And Black Angus Reviews actually thought of a great idea with me and Josiah Rises, because Josiah has lots of he did an independent film on Amazon actually called Taker's Crown. And he's set up a GoFundMe so that people, if they want to support either of us, that money would split between Josiah and I. But they have the option to donate if they want and help us out if they want. And that's cool because I already spent $50 on this and I just work at Subway. So anything that helps is great. I mean,
Yep.
I'm going to do what I can anyway, regardless. But like when he brought the idea to me, I was first like, I don't really want to ask people for money. But then he pointed out, he's like, well, you can, it's just an option if they want to help you. And I'm like, well, okay, if I actually had more money, I could get this and that. If I had more money, I could do blank and blank. And I'm thinking the whole scope expands with my ideas and what I can do with that. And if people like the stuff, then they'll support it. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to just make the products that they want. A Game of Tomatoes, I feel like people will like even more than the whole Skit trilogy itself, because it's like Rotten Tomatoes themed with stop motion tomatoes, and it's Game of Thrones style.
Brilliant.
It will be the idea. So
that's cool. Yeah. And do not be, crowdfunding is totally okay. Nobody will shame you for crowdfunding. Like you said, they don't want to they don't have to give you money.
yeah,
So
it's an option if they want
an
to.
option, and it's a way to get things funded. And believe me, it will help in the long run. It takes every time something gets crowdfunded, it takes a little bit of power away from Hollywood. And then if they recognize that, maybe they'll treat the customer better, because they'll realize instead of trying to stamp out the competition, maybe they should just try to compete with the competition.
Right. Yeah. And I love the idea of that so much more. People, using what they can, their own abilities, their own resources to be able to make something entertaining, make something good. I mean, you look at the Vader fan film, that alone was like one of the best independent things I've ever seen. And even before that, the Sith Apprentice, there's so many fan films I've watched recently. Even like there's a Power Rangers one called Power Rangers Unworthy, and it's all goofy and stuff. And honestly, if you guys watched it, you'd probably think it's a little SJW. It kind of is a little bit, the characters they use in there, but still the effort that they put into it and funded by themselves. Like, I still appreciate that big time. Like, they put their own effort into it, and it's really good. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to be lately. It's just to support independent stuff. Like we do complain a lot about the entertainment industry, as we should. And when people are also making their own projects, I think that just makes it even better. We have more legs to stand on. We have more to go, okay, this is a problem here and there. And we're also doing our own thing here with what we have, making a much better impact.
Yeah, it's got Hollywood scared to death. It's got media scared to death. Look at the lengths they are going to stamp out individuals. Individuals, like single persons, like giant billion-dollar corporations are taking on like people in their garages. It's hilarious.
It's so crazy. I've seen comments where people are like, how would you guys like it if people talked about you like you guys do Brie Larson and Rian Johnson and all them? I'm like, well, one, they're very rich, famous. They have all these things. They're already protected basically by default of whatever they could, and then they're just regular YouTubers, just regular people.
Yeah. And they do talk about us like that. Read my comment section, please.
Yeah.
I get talked about like all day. I don't care. That's part of it. You put yourself out there, you will be criticized for the strangest things. Like these strangest things. Like, I get stuff about, like, I go on the road and it's like, I don't like that background. Unsub.
I had this one guy recently called Graham Cracker in my comments. He pulled up. I made only 3 Brie Larson videos, Gary. Only one got like 1,300 views, and that was my highest video right now. And
that's great.
That video was just saying Brie Larson loves the fandom menace. Look at the success of Anna. She made a few Brie Larson videos, and boom, she gained 60,000 subs. Look at the success of Julie from Wish Upon a Vlog. She made a few and gained like 8,000 subs. Anomaly Inc. made some on Game of Thrones, and he gained like 2,500 and got 1 million views on one of his videos. Like, I was just, congratulating some people and whatnot. And this guy was like, how dare you support these people that just spread toxicity and don't use research and all these things and whatever. And they don't do anything good. At least Brie Larson does good things. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I just responded to him, and I quote him in my response so he knows what I'm responding to. And he just is completely avoiding everything I say and then saying, no, well, you said this, and these people keep on doing that. He would never say any names. He would just say these people in quotes, referring to, I assume, like you, World Class Bullshitters, Jeremy, John Talks, everybody. And I'm just like, well, okay. He says, like, you guys spread lies and stuff. Like, well, no, you guys have an article or a video or something, and you guys respond. You respond to the news, right?
Yeah.
You respond to what happens. If there's an interview, you respond to that interview, and you're saying what you think. You're not spreading any lies. You're reporting on what is out there, your take. and they're like, "Oh, you're spreading toxicity and all this." And what is toxicity even?
That's subjective. That means you're spreading words that make me uncomfortable. It's like, and we saw that on a very big level in the last 24 hours. So hurtful words that make me think my thoughts. I don't like that.
Yeah, and it's like if some people do, like when people talk bad about YouTubers, for example, like they go, "Oh, Jeremy's a son of a bitch, stupid little asshole, whatever." It's like, okay, you can think that all you want, sure. I mean, he does rub a lot of people off the wrong way, but that's you, and people will still like him. But oh well, people will still like Brie Larson at the end of the day. Some people will somehow, so that's fine. It's like we don't hate anybody for doing that. It's just open platform.
Her money, I'm sure she's counting her money and feeling just fine. She should just save it. That's all I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. He's like, God forbid somebody points out that these people make video after video. And I'm like, do you not understand how YouTube is? It is where you can make videos about whatever. There's squirrels, there's music videos, there's random commercials, skits here and there. There's, just anything. Could be people just literally drinking water as their video. You could say whatever you want. There's no rule to how you report on somebody. If an actress in a movie franchise that you like is annoying, you can talk about it. There's no problem with that. Yeah. Right? Like, what if it was the opposite? What if it was just hundreds of praise videos? Would that not be like just as weird? Or like
it would be very strange and not successful.
Like, because everybody says, "Oh, why are you guys so negative?" And it's like, it's not really, being negative isn't bad. Like, it's not exactly bad. Like when Rotten Tomatoes was going on and they're like, "Oh, all these troll comments, all these negative reviews." And then there's also positive reviews that are basically troll comments as well. In my mind, I'm like, that's just as bad then. If you're going to say this is bad, so is that, because that's false, information. You're all these, Brie Larson's the best. Captain Marvel is good. It is really good. It's really good. That's just as bad because you're manipulating the true score. So
yeah, and they're going to find out with their new rules just how that's going to work out for them. By the way, my review for X-Men, whatever it is, I haven't seen it yet, will count. I'm going to go through the process. I bought my tickets on Fandango, NBC Universal owned, who also owns Vox, Fandango, and I'm going to give an honest review on that film. I'm sure it'll be great. I'm sure it'll move my soul.
I wish.
It'll be the most important film of the summer, X-Men Dark Phoenix.
I'm surprised they released it. I thought they pushed that back, months and months all the time. And they're like, "Oh, it's out." I'm like, "Oh, really? They officially were brave enough to put it out now." Okay.
Oh, yeah. They're going to wish they hadn't. They're going to really wish they hadn't.
I also heard they're still going to try to do New Mutants. I swear that was supposed to come out like 2 years ago.
Yeah, Macy Williams looks 12 in it, and she's like, what, 30 now? So, yeah, her press interviews when that eventually comes out is going to be very interesting. What's up, sexual harassment panda? Haven't seen you in a while.
I was just about to say, I haven't seen him in a while either. He said he took a little break, I think.
Who else did I see in there? I saw Price is Right reviews. What's up? Christy Miller. Of course, Mary Mayhem, Proper Jenny. God, how much time is left on that name, bud?
I think he's less than 40 days, I think.
Oh, Proper Jenny. You got to look up what Johnny Rotten says about Axl Rose. It'll make you very angry. I was looking up some Johnny Rotten quotes for my next video because I love that guy. He's such a curmudgeon, famous curmudgeon. Eskimo no Phono, Patriarch of the Sith. Oh, bless your heart. Geoff TheIronWolf. The Senate is here.
Oh, yeah, I got all these buddies. Sith Kryptonian, Pussy Centipede. Black King gets reviews.
The Senate. Hey, I saw the Senate. I saw you in Word of Wolf's live stream last night. Man, did he call? I love Word of Wolf, by the way.
Oh, he's great.
But he was sad last night. I felt terrible for him. I'm like, dude, it's gonna be okay. I wanted to kind of give him a man hug and tell him it was gonna be all right.
I thought that was somebody else talking because I was at work and I saw he was streaming. I'm like, oh, I haven't seen him stream on his channel in a while. Let's see what he's doing. It's like, okay, something's happened. I never heard him talk that low.
No, I did. Well, plus he's 22, and he's gonna realize one day, listen. I was in my early 20s, and when I was in 22, I was in a very nasty place. So but I just want to tell him that he's like, I haven't felt like I've done anything. Well, you haven't done anything because you're 22. You got plenty of time. It's just getting started. 22, you're still a teenager. You are, and it doesn't you don't realize that until you're much, much older. And yeah, 22 is nothing. His frontal lobe isn't even fully developed. He's got 2 more years till that fully develops.
It's just the beginning so far.
Yep.
Just the start.
What's up, Matt Joseph? And Riot Kitty. I like that name.
Yep. No, she's awesome. She's an upcoming artist as well, I would say.
Brilliant.
And but yeah, I forgot to say before, Drawing for the Fun of It made that animation earlier that I showed. Drawing for the Fun of It. He does great animations, and I'm gonna have him do more probably.
Yeah, that was cool. Cool.
That's one thing too. So I don't know if I went into detail about the Fandom Collective, but like I said the members of that, Geoff TheIronWolf, Sith Kryptonian, Black Angus, and I, we have like a Twitter where we pretty much share everyone's videos. We try to share little channels, big channels. We try to spread it around. Hopefully, people retweet it so more people can see it. Get exposed to a bigger audience. Hopefully, grow faster. We allow people to send us a video to put on our channel, and we can kind of promote them. Like if they are just starting out and they try to get an audience, they can be seen by a bigger audience first. And we're trying to go against the algorithm in a way. We're trying to hopefully allow people to grow by literally working together. We're trying to.
If you're sharing the videos, it helps. If you're liking and sharing the videos, that is a definitive way to help grow your channel. Like, I put every one of my videos on my website. I recommend every YouTuber have a website, every single one. Have your own go to WordPress, go to something, and build your own website and back everything up immediately, because that's something you can fall back on later. And if your following gets big enough, you can someday just go there and go F YouTube. I'm getting ready to make that announcement. I'm completely pissed at Patreon right now. So Patreon, like I love my patrons and they're great, but I really hate what they did to Sargon and a couple other people. And ever since that happened, I'm getting paid later and later and later. So they're obviously having some problems. It's not money I rely on. It's money I greatly appreciate, but like I'm not poor, so don't worry. I'm fine.
Okay.
But it's just the fact that they're paying us later and they're not telling us, they're being very ambiguous about it, is, well, it's noticeable. I think they might be in some serious trouble because I think they lost one of their major investors. But more bad news. I told you right before we started, Swamp Thing got canceled.
Oh yeah, Swamp, the thing that barely started, right? It just
started last week. Swamp Thing is canceled.
I thought it was. I was confused for a sec. I thought it was a movie that was coming out. And
no,
like,
that's
coming
series.
out, a movie and a show. Okay, so and then it's already released and published, and now it's gone.
Yeah, so DC Universe is a streaming service that started last year. It was rolled out at Comic-Con. And it was really interesting. I'm surprised that Marvel didn't do it. It's specific to DC Comics, so they're going to do original shows based on DC Comics there. They have comics on the channel. They have old superhero shows like Wonder Woman and Lois and Clark and stuff. And honestly, it's the streaming service I go to the most. And it's the one my son is on night and day. Like as much as YouTube. He's reading comics. He's watching the old TV shows, Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, Justice League Unlimited. It's all there. Young Justice.
Love those.
They're brilliant. They're some of the best of the best. But the problem is, like, they started the streaming service while they still have superhero shows on that god awful CW, which
oh yeah, the Arrowverse.
You're spread too thin. And Titans is on Netflix. I don't understand this. You're starting a streaming service. You pull all of your stuff in and you keep it. You don't make physical media. You don't do anything. This site is the only place in the world you can watch this stuff, and it's the only way they're going to survive. So I reported 2 months ago that DC Universe is done. Like, it's done. It's getting shut down, and I got a bunch of blowback. So yeah, I'm gonna kind of say I told you so. I tried to tell you. So Swamp Thing got shut down quick. It was supposed to be 13 episodes. They made him hastily stop at the 10th episode, so the ending is probably going to be a hot mess. They aired one episode. They air it weekly, it's one of the only 2 streaming services, maybe 3 that I know of that air stuff weekly, which is very smart. But
yeah, I like that idea.
Aired one episode and canceled the show. So DC Universe is cooked and done, and I paid in advance for like 15 months. I doubt I'm going to get all that, but it's a sign of it's the first real casualty of the streaming wars, which is something that Tom, you're in here. I mean, that's a term they coined. At least first place I heard it.
That's a great topic that I will probably bring up later. I think Tom, said he's available, so I'll probably send him a link in a little bit to come in here as well. Streaming, I definitely want to talk about that. That's one of my favorite topics, is like streaming versus physical media. Like, where is that going to go? A lot of people think DVDs will die.
They will. They absolutely will.
I almost think so, but I think there's enough for them to maybe stick around. Maybe. I
used to make them. That was my job.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I used to be a pre-mastering technician. So I for Technicolor, I worked I did editing, and I was a pre-mastering technician. So I was the last line of defense. It's like kind of an overblown QC. It goes through QC quality checking, and then I check off this list, and then I burn the master copy. So I check off the list and then burn the master copy. Fix some menus if I need to fix some menus, fix whatever I need to fix. If it's beyond me, I send it back. And then I burnt the copies on Nero, which was pretty funny. On a 5-year-old PC.
Oh wow!
But yeah, I pre-mastered like 700 titles. It's easier to make a Blu-ray than it is a DVD, because you're putting way more information on a smaller disc. In a Blu-ray, you have more information, so it's a lot less.
Do you think that Blu-rays are going to be going away?
No, the physical media will be done away with because for one, it's absolutely dying in America. It's dying. DVDs are still selling very well in Europe and in Asia. So it's going to be around for a while over there. I'm not going to, but here in the Western places, it's going to die within the next 5 to 10 years. There'll be collector's editions. It won't be like you won't ever be able to find them, right? But there will be if you want to open up a good niche store, if you want to open up like a video store,
right? Of course,
like a little mom and pop one
type thing, or
that would be brilliant.
FYE, those ones. Yeah,
but it's tough to say. I mean, it's not here right now. I've got a box. I got all the available Doctor Who's on DVD, because I suspect, some guys
you don't want to lose your chance.
Sold me the whole collection. But no, it's going to die because of the streaming wars. Now, if they and the streaming is the future. It's not going anywhere. There's just going to be 3 or 4, and we could talk about it later. There's like distinct winners in this, and then everybody else will have to work with them. You won't be able to, it won't be spread out all over. There won't be 20, 30 streaming services, because they're insanely expensive
down at some point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, look what Disney put towards theirs already.
That's true.
Billions of dollars.
Yeah, we'll bring this up again a little bit later, definitely. But I did have some people see if they wanted to ask you any questions in the chat while we got you. So Sith Kryptonian says, what is your favorite vegetable?
Broccoli.
Okay.
Broccoli.
I did not expect that. I was expecting carrot, but no.
I probably should eat more carrots. Maybe I'd see better. But
Therius asks, did you get his email?
Did I get Tharis? Yes, I got your email.
Okay, sweet. Hold on. Let's see who else is here. Hollum899 Live says, Nerdrotic, do you remember me?
No, I don't remember you ever. Every time you come in and ask me if I remember you, I forget you every time. Kind of like the silence. Every time I look away from you, I forget.
Oh, boy. Yeah, we got Matthew Matson says, did you guys see that the writer of X-Men Last Stand is the writer or the writer director or Dark Phoenix?
Simon Kinberg. Yep. And what do writers love? Their own work.
Oh yeah. Wait, so the same person who directed the X-Men Last Stand, where they had the Phoenix, is also directing Dark Phoenix?
Simon Kinberg has God, he's written a lot of superhero stuff. God, I want to say he goes way the hell back. Yeah, Fanforstic. He's working on Deadpool 3. Here, let's go back here. X-Men First Class. He's a producer. Well, let's go see where his writing credits are. Hang on.
Okay. That's crazy.
Yeah, X-Men, written by X-Men Last Stand. That is correct.
Wow. I actually didn't mind The Last Stand for the most part, but I don't think it has that much rewatchability personally. But then again, I think I'd rather watch that at least 1,000 times compared to what the Dark Phoenix looks like. Just in general, it looks like a boring idea. Like it looks like a complete rehash of everything. It's just like, oh, haven't we seen that same street and the same thing?
Well,
and
you're putting Femke Janssen against Sophie Turner, so you're putting up a woman versus a young lady. We'll just say.
I feel like I'd like Sophie Turner in different roles, just not what she's done so far. Like she seems like a decent fan. Seems like she could be okay. Just so far, it's just not working with what she's got. It just doesn't seem to work.
She doesn't have a ton of range. She doesn't. I mean, not that Femke Janssen had a ton of range either, but
I feel like if Femke had more charisma, kind of.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
If she wasn't able to make it work, everyone else somehow made it work around her, like to where she fits in just fine. Is how I saw it. So that was good. Sexual Harassment Panda asks, does Gary know when the next season of Expanse is due to come out?
Later this year, they said November, December.
Oh, sweet. So the end of the year. Awesome. Patriarch of the Sith says, does Gary think there is a future for print comics? Will they go full digital?
There'll always be a future for print comics. As far as in the numbers they are now, no. It'll be Indiegogo stuff. I could see the big two pulling out of it within the next 10 years. Just the diminishing returns they're getting. They're printing the same amount of for one, the 10 years ago, the exact same amount of comics are selling right now than there were 10 years ago. So there's been zero growth, and they're more expensive to make and sell. So yeah, that's unsustainable. They're basically advertising right now and a write-off for the big companies.
Okay. Just going down here, see if there's any more questions real quick. I'm about to add some people in here.
Sure. So Halama asked me what my favorite Titans Young Justice character is. Nightwing.
Yeah, Oh yeah, I love that. That was the cartoon show, right? That was kind of like the Teen Titans. Yeah, that one was pretty good.
Robin.
Did you ever see the original? Nightwing. Did you like the old Teen Titans, the 2006? I think.
I love that cartoon. I love it. No, Teen Titans is my favorite DC comic from Marv Wolfman, Perez days. But yeah, Robin / Nightwing is my favorite character.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I found something funny about the guy who voices Robin in the original Teen Titans, though. I recognized his voice from a few other things, and then I had my nephew over, my nieces, and we were watching The Land Before Time, and he voices one of the dinosaurs from back there. Yeah, they're like, "We're better, we're bigger, we're better," the bullies and stuff. And I was like, "Oh my god, that's Robin." Singing it, and the guy's older than I thought he was. That does the voice, and I really thought, I was like, how could he voice The Land Before Time? He's like 50 or something.
Yeah, voice actors don't ever leave, and it's super insular and hard. It's hard to get into. I think there's the same 50 voice actors in Hollywood, just do the same stuff, and the same thing in anime. We're seeing that play out. That's pretty fun. Apple TV just started. Matthew Matson, did Apple TV announce today? They have a Ronald D. Moore show that I'm curious about, but Apple TV's DOA.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know that they had is that like another streaming service?
Yeah. If they released it, 5 years ago when Apple was relevant, yeah, sure. But now it's like, This is I'm on a Mac right now. This is my last Mac. I'm never buying one again.
I gotcha. Yeah. Makes sense. We have the Bliggity Black Angus of Color reviews here with us. What's up, man?
What's up, my wiggies?
What's up, dude?
Oh, not much. Just enjoying the chat. We'll wait till later, but I definitely want to get your take on Wonder Woman and the DCU. I've been saying they're about to go woke. People are like, "You're silly," and I'd love to get your take on that.
I haven't even seen the new poster. I got to look at it.
Oh yeah, it's perfect for Pride Month. I'll just tell you that.
That's good. And then we got our other founding father member that just joined us, the Sith Kryptonian, back from the shadows.
All right.
What's up, guys? How you guys doing? What's up, Angus, Rookie, Nerdrotic? I believe we had the pleasure one time on Geeks and Gamers.
Yes. What's up? How's it going?
Nothing much. Oh, who invited Mary?
Oh, damn. I sent it to the wrong person. No, just kidding.
Whoops.
Good. What is up, Mary?
I mean, I can leave, man. If you guys want to be a patriarchy over here, then
Yeah, it's all about
only,
You're
Dude.
absolutely correct. Get out.
only sausages. No. Kidding.
Speaking of that, did you see my new parody account someone made on YouTube for me?
I
Yeah,
did.
I thought that was you that made your own for a second.
No, that was truly a parody account. I was like, man, I'm waiting for someone to do this, and someone stepped up to the plate.
The Black Angus reviews dicks or something.
No,
Is that?
Yeah, Black
Anus.
Anus. Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. Sorry.
legit.
I was offended for you, Angus.
I'm surprised that wasn't one already.
Mhm. I know.
I know. I've been asking for a good parody like that for a while.
I
I
got
still
you.
got dibs on white sirloin.
Wait, Rookie, you never asked my question for Gary here.
What?
You never asked my question for Gary here.
Oh, you can ask your question.
I want to know what his favorite dinosaur is.
Oh, T-Rex. Very basic, boring answer.
Oh, I was
but
going to say that.
T-Rex.
Little basic bitch. What?
Yeah, I am totally.
What do you expect? From
Dragon.
a male?
That's my favorite dinosaur. A dragon.
Hell yeah. Speaking of dragon,
Godzilla.
I just started my Game of Thrones journey a while back. I'm on episode 9 so far. knowing all the horribleness that everybody says happens later, that's why I'm watching. Is to
Well, you
see.
got to get context to it.
Well, I'm curious because everybody recommended it for the longest time. Watch Game of Thrones. Watch Game of Thrones. You love it. And then season 8, and it all crumbled. And I'm like, oh, so how'd that happen? I got to see this. I got to see it. It's different because, with The Last Jedi, you grow up with all that, knowing it, and then it happens. This I wasn't attached to, and it happened to everybody else. Now I want to see if that will happen. What will happen here? I'm going to see a different take on that. I was hoping that Rob was going to live, or not Rob, Ned Stark, but he's Boromir always dies.
Yeah.
Always.
You have to kind of
Save Sean Bean, poor guy.
Rookie, I just got to say, and I think I've told you this off air, but if you, with your hate of The Last Jedi, it's the bane of your streaming existence, the first 6 months of your streaming, if you come out of season 8 and you're just like, wow, that was perfect, I don't get the complaints, and then you hate The Last Jedi, I don't understand you. I'll just leave it at that.
Well, I have just a normal dislike for The Last Jedi. It's a stupid movie, but I was more annoyed with us talking about it after a while because we're on 70 streams at some point and still talking about it. And I was like, okay, I think I've said everything ever. We're in the same conversation.
Hey, did
oh no,
you guys hear about Admiral Ackbar in the news?
that's a good transition while we wait for other people to join us. I'm gonna have Stephen Walton, the author of the Fandom Menace book, come on in, so we can have that up. Yeah, the Admiral Ackbar. I didn't actually watch this coverage, so if anybody has more info on that, you can do the summary. Fill up. What's up? Catch us up.
Yeah, I mean, so basically what it winds up being is that the actor for the suit that was in the suit, not the voice actor, but the puppeteer for Admiral Ackbar, who's been with us in every video that we've seen so far, in every movie we've seen so far, was essentially completely and utterly disrespected by Rian Johnson. So his last moments wind up him holding this cardboard cutout of the Millennium Falcon and saying, "It's a wrap," right? And that's it. There's no plaque. There's no I get it. You can't throw plaques and medals and awards at every single person, but he is a legacy character. He is a big part of the EU, and we all do know and love this character. And so for you to send him off with nothing more than a meme moment and then shove the character in the box and not even kind words. There wasn't even a moment where they were like, "Hey, thank you so much for the contribution to this franchise." No, it's a wrap and that's it. And it made the guy cry. He wound up taking, I think he said he took a half an hour out back, just sort of composing himself from that being basically all he got. And now he's being attacked on Twitter. And that's all he ever was. All he ever was a meme. Well, that's absolute garbage. You don't actually know Star Wars. And if you know that you don't know Star Wars and you're not an EU fan, why are you running your mouth and trying to tell people what he is? Because you don't know what you're talking about. So shut up.
Those are the same people that, in one breath will defend Star Wars to death, but then when it comes to us, they'll say, "Oh, actually, it's just a movie, guys. I don't know what the big deal is. It's just a kid's movie." It's like, no, bullshit. You don't even believe that yourself. You're just doing this to win your little argument on Twitter. And I always say, there's beyond just being disrespectful to the character, leave it to Rian Johnson to add some more unintentional bigotry For example, having the woman crash the ship, or the one guy named Ackbar, with the Arab name. Oh, how are we gonna send him off? Oh, let's blow him up. That'll make perfect sense.
Oh no.
Yeah, I honestly think it's overblown because of the Phantom Menace's general hate of Johnson because of The Last Jedi. I think this is us blowing it out of proportion. I really think that this was just an honest mistake by him or Lucasfilm or whatever. They're thinking, like, oh, it's a small role. Like, they perhaps undervalued him. And also perhaps they might think, oh, we're going to bring him back for a different, puppeteering role. So maybe something he's unaware of. But
at his age, I doubt that.
I really think, again, it's like this is us blowing it out of proportion because of the hate. And if you bring the EU into this, then you have to bring like novelization, like when I talked about Anakin in episode 1 with the Tuskens, and tying that to like episode 2's interactions. Where does it stop? Like he's not that important of a character. He's just iconic because he's like an odd alien creature. I don't know, like he expected something, and I think it was reasonable to expect it, but I really think he should have tougher skin because he's if you watch the interview on whatever that guy's name is that he did the interview, he talks about how he's not too pleased with how his Cantina character was scrubbed digitally in the special editions. And so it's like, if he's dealt with that and had that sentiment this whole time, you think this would kind of be whatever to him. He's like, well, I mean, George did this, so what do I expect from some, asshat like Rian Johnson? I just really think it was like miscommunication and two different ideals. I think it was kind of a millennial or Gen X, whatever the generations are, just like thinking things differently about how to send someone off.
No, I disagree. I think it was a complete oversight. I think it was millennialism, and I think it exemplifies what Rian is, a self-indulgent kind of an a-hole and a narcissist, and what you have to be as a director in Hollywood, but you also have to be very sensitive, and actors, that's what actors do. That's what Tim Rose did, is what any other actor does. They go back and they cry over because they're actors, they're dramatic. That's kind of how they roll. That's part of the deal. So yeah, you have to deal with them with kid gloves. And as a director, Rian probably knew that, probably just got, he's probably got to deal with so many people with kid gloves that maybe he just got tired with it. But more importantly, you're right. It was an oversight. He absolutely didn't care. And that exemplifies the problem with Rian as a whole being a part of that universe, not caring. And listen, as a lifelong fan, Ackbar was a big deal. Anybody who spoke a line in Star Wars was a big deal, especially when we got down to action figures who were in the background, but we knew their name. That was a big deal. Back when Star Wars, there wasn't a lot of Star Wars. So we were just holding on to every little bit we can keep because George did the smart thing, didn't like make 50 cartoons with everything. He made a lot of toys. And believe me, back then, they thought it was they were flooding the shelves, and people thought that back then they like, oh my God, the Star Wars is everywhere. Well, I mean, that was back then. How little did we know? Oh, yeah. But it just shows Ryan's aloofness, and and that's why that's why he's very unpopular right now. He's not unpopular for making a shitty movie. That's not why he's unpopular. It's his reaction afterwards. If you remember back correctly, when The Last Jedi was released and came out, people were pissed, but it died out a little bit. It had died out. And then the Blu-ray came out, and that's when shit went sideways. And because the world-class bullshitters were pretty much on it the whole time. Jeremy was starting to blow up around December, January, if I remember correctly. And then it was the third punch of EVS's like flippant Blu-ray review that I remember he just, I'm going to review this movie, and lost his shit. And then a lot of other things aligned at the same time. And then Rian started reacting to this stuff on Twitter as well. And that's what really, I mean, it's just treatment of fans. You can make a crappy movie, happens all the time. But if you make a bad Star Wars movie, you better be ready for it. And he could have, listen, if he'd have come out and just said, I did my best, you don't even have to apologize. You could just go, I tried. I did my best. I'm sorry you didn't like it, but I did my best. Over. Fervor
Agreed.
over. It is done. And no, but he stoked the flames. Your Snoke theory sucks, and yeah, rest is history.
I was going to say the reaction of other people too, I think, is really more with this Ackbar thing, which is kind of wrong, because these same people will pretty much go, "We're against bullying, and you should never bully people and whatever." Oh, why you crying, actor?
Yeah,
you
they're
like
shaming him and stuff.
and you're a little bitch
Yeah.
character anyways. Like, oh, I thought, be nice to people. Oh, we're against bullying. #, let's bully. Like,
Oh yeah, just imagine if it was like Kelly Marie Tran.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If it was, they would be completely reversed and say, "How dare you say this? About her? She just tried her best as an actress." Okay, he says this. Who cares? Your stupid fish thing that said it's a trap. No one cares. What?
Yeah,
I don't know.
he made apologies on Twitter.
It's completely hypocritical. His expectation is that he's allowed to put out whatever it is that he wants. He's allowed to do whatever it is that he wants, and he'll call you names if you disagree with him. He'll call you names, and he'll call you the worst kinds of names too. You're a bigot. You're a racist. You're a sexist. You're a homophobe. You're all these things if you don't like his content. But he can't have the same measure of consideration for the people around him. Like, it takes 2 seconds to stop and consider that a person who has spent decades of their life they're just completely devoted to this franchise. You can't take 2 seconds and say some kind words. That's human decency. That's common decency. That's nothing beyond the pale. That's no extra added thing that anybody's expecting of you. That's basic human decency. So he demands it and expects it from everyone he interacts with. And if you don't like his stuff, then you're a terrible human being. But he can't apply it when he interacts with someone else, someone who's actually earned that respect. I'm sorry, but Brian Johnson is a complete and utter twat waffle, and I have no patience for him.
Well, it's his ego, right? It's his ego and his insecurities. Like, nothing can be his fault totally. He has to deflect. He has to say it's man babies. The guy said in like a featurette video, he was explaining to some dude that all the hate were Russian troll bots. It was like, oh, it's a group of Russian trolls all tweeting. It's just like, dude, you're like delusional, man. Your ego is like out of this world.
Yeah, Natasha, I need to downvote Last Jedi. Give me vote.
Let's do it together,
I'm
comrades.
spending all night on this. It's
Uru and Johnson.
Just one sec. While we have 60 people in here, I am so glad to have this many people in here. But there's a lot of great YouTubers in the chat, a lot of great content creators. Everybody, if you click the little 3 dots on the side of everybody's names, you can check out people's channels. Maybe you'll find a lot of new content creators in here that you haven't seen before. A lot of great ones. A Drawing for the Fun of It is in here. He's the guy who made my poster for the Rookie's Quest trilogy. There's Riot Kitty. She's doing good. Drunk 3PO just dropped in. There's a lot of people in here. Proper Jenny. I mean, you can sub to him if you want. I mean, you don't have to. Yeah, just kidding.
Excuse me, it's ma'am, it's her.
It's her.
Unsub and then resub. Just
yeah.
I stand with her.
Stand with her. We got Mega Jetty in here as well. Random. There's one very small YouTuber that doesn't get enough clout. Random Nerd of Doom. I haven't seen what he's made recently, but the first video I saw of him was he did this awesome video where he connects the Star Wars universe to Star Trek, and like how that would make sense. And that was a really good video. So just throw
video on I think it was the new Star Wars stuff. His T-Rex eats them. So that was pretty fun. Carnage.
That's awesome. Yeah, I decided to give a little shout out. There's the Lone Wolf Cub in here. We got Geoff TheIronWolf was in here for a bit. There's a lot of great small content creators out there growing as we go. So just, at least check them out. You don't have to just sub them right away. Check them out. They got great videos coming out. So just thought I'd take a moment for that. It looks
by the way, sub to Rookie if you haven't. He's so close to 1K. Let's get him there, please. Right. He deserves it.
Plus, thanks, man. He has cookies too.
Yes, I always have my Subway cookies. Indeed.
Yeah, but he doesn't share.
I try to, but I always give them voices that make people sympathize before I kill them.
Those are tomatoes.
Those two, those especially. Guess what, guys? Guess how many tomatoes I have to buy this weekend for my Game of Tomatoes skit?
What you put yourself through is astounding to me. I know you hate those stupid tomatoes, and I know that they're like your least favorite thing ever. Yeah. And you put yourself through that all the time, and it's so highly amusing.
I know. Gary, have you seen my Rotten Tomatoes videos at all?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I have.
Oh, you have?
Yes. I get around. I watch a lot of videos.
I was surprised when you're like saying before, like that I'm the heart and soul of the Fandom Menace. I was like, has he seen some of my videos?
Yes.
That's awesome.
We all watch. We're fans of YouTube. I'm a huge fan of YouTube. Like I said, I'm in streams all the time. I can't talk in them, but I was listening to Mary and Tom the other day driving home. I was listening. Yeah, I was listening to you guys sing when I was in Palm Springs. I got back from the UFO show. I was listening to Tom's birthday party. Yeah,
that was so fun.
Yeah, all the time. But I prefer
dope.
to go to YouTube to one of you guys on the stream rather than watch most TV shows or anything now, for sure.
Oh, agreed.
Yeah, it was.
You guys
are
great.
Pretty humbling, Gary, when you were tweeting out me, you followed me, you're talking about Steven saying something about with the whole thing with your wife. I was like, holy shit, Nerdrotic's watching my channel. Like,
yeah, I'm just a fan. Yeah, like, dude, it's cool. No, I really appreciate you back and mentioning my wife and backing us up. That's brilliant. That's why I love the Fandom Menace.
Hell yeah.
Somebody sent her some flowers and I didn't even get jealous.
It's
like,
funny.
cool.
I want to clarify for people in the chat too that might not have like streamed with anybody big yet. Like Sith Kryptonian and I, when we were very little, like around 200 subs, Geeks and Gamers Jeremy just invited us on to his charity live stream. Like, I asked if I could come on to help him out because he was falling asleep on the mic. And he already had all his main guests, but it's like he just said, "Yeah, sure, all right," and let me on, and boom. I mean, you just got to talk to people. You know, if you don't talk, then they won't notice. But you talk, they interact, and they try to interact with the chat as much as often. I love you and Doomcock. Really, and Jeremy, you guys really try to pay attention to as much as the chat as you can, and that seems like really tough with your guys' growing audience. So
it's very hard, and you know what? I mean, in a lot of ways, I do. That's why I like that I do streams on the second channel, so I can read every single thing still. Because that was fun. That was fun when I had like 2,000 or 3,000 subs, and I would read every chat. I would just sit there and start a stream, read the chat, and because you guys are a great source of entertainment for one. You're smart, you're funny, you have great ideas. One time I asked for Doctor Who writers said, "Oh, we're not doing a Christmas special because we're out of ideas," and so I said, "Man, why didn't you just ask the fans?" So I just flippantly went, "Yeah, but guys, send me some ideas," and I got like, I don't know, 4,000 ideas. I couldn't even go through them all. I'd never gotten that many emails from anything in my life. And it was brilliant. And I tried to pick out the best, and they were great. And every single one of them would have made a good Christmas special, even with Jody. But it's hard to say. It makes me throw up my mouth a little bit. But yeah, you guys have the best ideas, period.
We appreciate that, man. Big time. Big time.
Yeah, that's one of the great things about the Fandom Menace is like, from top to bottom, there's, at least from my experience, big or small, there's no real ego. There's a sense that, we're all in this together in a way, and that, because of what was the catalyst for our community,
there's
a bunch of us just being,
we're all in this together in a way, and that
someone's
come
back
on,
there.
Steven.
Your clone.
Oh no!
Rookie move on the Rookie Critic. No, just
kidding.
Sorry, I didn't mean to walk on somebody.
No, you're good.
All good. So yeah. Anyway, my point was that this community is actually here for each other, and there's no egos on this side. At least I know there happens to be on the other side of the Last Jedi line, because we all just started as fans who just wanted good Star Wars. Like at heart, we're all still that person, and I think that's why like Rookie and I and Angus and Mary, like we're blessed to have these relationships with these bigger YouTubers, so to speak. And for example, like Rookie brought up Jeremy, like it's not only that he brought us on that stream one time, like obviously he didn't have to do that, but he went above and beyond. Like he interacted with us, he shouted us out, and he was actually kind enough to come on my channel for when I hit 1K, and he joined me for a live stream on my channel. So it's really a great community to enter YouTube with, and that's why I feel like I see a lot of new channels popping up every day within our community. And I haven't seen anything like that elsewhere.
Yeah.
We all kind of got told, Jeremy was the one who put it out there, like use your voice, make your channels. And we took that to heart, because if we use our voices, it magnifies us, right? It sort of lends credence to this. We're not some small sect of a bunch of basement dwelling, cousin humping dudes, right? Like, no, we're a diverse population of people. We have different likes, different dislikes. We have different passions, dreams, hopes, and we come from different ethnicities and backgrounds, right? But at the end of the day, we all care about this sort of pop culture, geek-centric kind of culture, right? So we're finding ourselves joining together, and when we all come together and we use our voices, those voices are magnified by a million times, and we recognize the importance of that, which is why we're all sort of, with our powers combined, we are Captain Star Wars. So I think
with our powers combined, we are Captain Star Wars. No,
if you don't make a skit out of that, Rookie, I swear.
I love Captain Planet, man. That was the best.
But yeah, I think we all took that to heart. And the wonderful thing about sort of the leaders, for lack of a better term, like Nerdrotic, Geeks and Gamers, World Class Bullshitters, Ethan Van Sciver, people like that, is that they have been very supportive of it. They put their money where their mouth was, as it were, right? Like when the call to action was made, get out there, use your voices, they backed it up. They've been very accepting and promoting of our channels. And I think that it's overall working towards the good of the fandom.
Yeah, I think in the bovine community, there's a great response to the Fandom Menace.
Yeah, what's that response?
Nerdrotic, because I know you saw Rookie's thing. I was wondering, did you ever stop by episode 2 of casting the Fandom Menace in Game of Thrones? Because I was really curious if you enjoyed your casting.
I did not. I am guilty of
Wow.
that one. I will stop by it now. I was just telling Rookie how goddamn absent-minded I am, but let me write myself a little note, because if you take the time, I'm sorry, I do apologize about that. I'm going to do it.
But
You said episode
I
2?
think you'll like it.
Pronto.
Well, I got to watch 1 and 2 now, so I'll watch them both. Can't catch everything, but I will definitely check it. Especially thanks for taking the time. No.
It's a good project. Like, he showed me that before I started watching Game of Thrones. I was like, that's actually kind of cool, I guess. So that's a cool idea. But before we go on, so Stephen Walton, why don't you introduce yourself, man? You are the author of the Fandom Menace book that you're working on. Go ahead.
Yeah, how you doing? I'm author Stephen Walton. I'm working on the Fandom Menace Volume 1, which was inspired by all of these great people here. Just like these YouTubers that started creating channels and creating their own work in the last year or so. I was inspired by people like Gary, Doomcock, Jeremy, Geoff, Ethan, Moeller, all these great people. And when Jeremy said, get a camera, start recording, start making videos, I said, I don't do that. I write books. So I decided to start writing down all of the events that's transpired since January of 18, and a little bit before then, because a little bit of backstory up until that point, and really just flushing everything out and trying to give everyone an idea, people outside of our community, of what's going on, because normies just don't know. I was just talking with a friend of mine at work who just completely, just wants to see movies, just like normal people. I just want to go see movies, that don't understand the culture war that's going on behind the scenes, and all of the trash talking and the labeling and the attacking and doxing that goes on. And so I want to present this to people in a literary sphere outside of our community, so that maybe we can bring some subs in, we can grow our community and just try and get the word out there.
The more the merrier. That's brilliant. I love this. I can't wait to read it.
Thanks, Gary.
His inspiration, I loved. He mentioned The Dark Side of the Fandom Menace, a book that somebody wrote like a year ago, and I went to check it out on Amazon, and it was like the worst grammar I've ever seen in like a bio intro of the video. Like, punctuations were wrong, capitals were wrong, his spelling of words, he spelled like Rian, and there's this like, there's the Fandom Menace has insulted like billions, 100 billion people. That's what he says in the writing. I'm like, so about 10 times the amount of the human population.
Wow. Well, we went into other time streams
we're the whole universe.
Mm-hmm.
The whole universe.
Well, I had to have an arch nemesis, and so that's my guy, I guess.
There you go. Yeah.
I loved it. Well, and it's like, because I loved him bringing that up, because that got me to think about the good things that the Fandom Menace has done, like charities. I mean, that's the easiest things to point out, but there's plenty of other things. But there's Geeks and Gamers charity, first thing he did when he got to 100K. He did the Peter Mayhew one with Jesse Milestone and everything. This other channel, Galactic Pops, does some charities. Drunk 3PO, Black Angus, they put together a quick charity kind of for Captain Marvel, like to go have Drunk go see Captain Marvel, raise some money, and they raised like $300.
Ricky, you're telling it wrong.
You go ahead. Yeah.
I used his words against him. He said, am I boycotting Captain Marvel? He's like, no, I'm just not seeing it because I'm broke. And so he said, like, send me $50 in my PayPal and I'll go see it. And he explained why he wants 50. And so I weaponized that. I did an EVS style video. And I sent him $10, and he's like, "Hey, no one's gonna pay for me to go see this. I'll send you your $10 back." So that inspired me to actually call people to action on Twitter, and I set up an emergency funding stream before the Thursday premiere, and everything over went to his charity. So he got like $300 profit for his charity.
Poor drunk. I mean, I'm happy for the kids, but poor drunk.
You had to go endorse Captain Marvel for the kids.
Yeah, it was a mockery of the Captain Marvel challenge, and we just used it for something good. So that was the whole thing. And then I made a good documentary making fun of him too.
Like, well, there's that. There's the Captain Marvel. The EVS did the No Kid Hungry thing when people were like, "Let's raise money to send kids to see Captain Marvel." He's like, "Let's actually feed kids."
Mhm.
And there's so many things that nobody ever mentions because all we do is just speak hate and toxic, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
We never do anything good, apparently. No. And like people give good shout outs. People, you guys are all really nice for the most part. They just only listen to the bad things that they want to hear. It seems.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they want to ignore the culture that's been created by a lot of these people, a lot of the, leaders, I guess, of the fandom menace. I mean, people that support one another, defend one another, help to get everybody's outreach widened, reach down to smaller channels and help out, but also try to report accurately, give accurate opinions. We're not just here bashing the hell out of everything for the hell of it. We're making serious criticisms and critiques that are being ignored, and we're being shamed for giving critiques about subjects and properties and franchises that we love. And that's got to be set straight. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, set straight is right. I was talking about this with Rip and Jeremy last night about I don't want to generalize. We'll just say our adversaries out there in the media, in the access media, lie. I mean, they just straight up paint us with lies. And why would you have to do that? I mean, if you did have a legit argument against me, and like, listen, I'm not right about everything. Nobody is. So like, attack my argument. Give me a specific. What am I wrong about? Let's debate about it. No, but when I'm being blanketly called words like Nazi, racist, some istophobe, whatever, and they now have become absolutely meaningless words. I could give two craps if anybody ever calls me that, because I've been called it 3 times this morning already. So, and that's when they come at us with just untruths, that means they don't have an argument against this. And the argument simply is, well, it's hard to define it sometimes, but the argument simply is, we want our entertainment back. We don't not want change. Change is good. We want things to evolve. I have no problem with that, but this isn't evolution. This is actually regression, what's happening now. Writers are afraid to write women. They're afraid to write black people because they're afraid to be offensive. So they write, especially white writers can't write women right now. White male writers cannot write women because they are self-editing, they're self-censoring, and they're writing these pieces of wood that go out and Mary Sue their way through a story, and it's the politics affecting creative art, which should be free to do whatever the hell it wants. And if it offends somebody, well, that person won't buy it. Generally, don't buy it, don't watch it, don't click on it. You have to make the effort to go watch a movie, watch a YouTube video. And we've got this culture now that I don't even want to see it. It needs to go away forever. I mean, okay, if we do that with entertainment, if we don't stop it with entertainment, then it's going to go to other places that are actually in real life that get serious. And then this becomes a very bad situation. So, and we got to stop it here. Plus, I like my escapism. I do. I maybe too much. I'm an old guy, but I've made my living in it now. It's my life. And I feel passionate about it. So maybe too passionate, but there you go.
And isn't it astounding that they're afraid to write women as women, right? Like they're so afraid they're going to step on toes. They're so afraid that they're going to disempower a woman that you can't allow her to have feminine traits. And that is so infuriating for a woman who is actually proud of being a female. This is so stupid and ridiculous. Women and men are different, and that's okay. You don't have to make a woman like a man in order to empower her, and you don't have to disempower a man in order to empower a woman. Why is that? Who thought that up? Who thought this ridiculous concept up and then said, let's run with it? It is insulting to every female that you will ever run across that has actually embraced that she's a woman, and that's okay.
It's also really ironic, too, because they don't even realize that they're sending the message that women have to be written masculine and like men in order to be competent. and that basically is an insult to women.
It's a major insult to women.
That to decide, should we give the woman boobs? Should we
Always boobs.
You know
should
what?
we let her be proud that she's a woman, but without, I don't know.
I don't know. Anatomy is taboo now, Rook.
Yeah.
Anatomy is not taboo.
I guess
It's taking the scales of equality that we've built up over like a century or more of different people's struggles and fighting and civil movements and people standing out during times and standing up for their rights when, being murdered or being taken advantage of was a real threat. And now we're finally at a point in our society where the scales are coming to a place of blind justice, and this group wants to come in and push the pendulum right back into an extreme position. And that's what they're trying to do with entertainment.
Absolutely.
They're using it as a cudgel against this progression. We have to fight this, if for anything, for the sake of morality.
So what we're often accused of, I tell you what, so I have an end game. I do. If the SJWism and stuff gets dialed back, I never expect it to go away forever, but if it gets dialed back to, like, I'll say, I will give a percentage. If it gets dialed back like 80%, I'm done. Okay, good, fine. Fight is over. I don't see it that way. It's not going to end that way, but I just, pie in the sky kind of stuff. But what you just said, it's people trying to remain relevant. There are some bad actors out there who want to keep stirring stuff up. And when things get better, what does the oh God, I'm blanking on their name now. What does the, oh fuck, I hate it when I do this. God damn it, but it's getting old.
It happens to me all the time.
I God damn it, I want to say advocate, but it's
Activist.
Activist. Thank you. What does the activist do? I just killed my own argument by brain farting. But drugs, kids, they're bad. What does the activist do when, what's their end game? Do they just go home and go, okay, we got equality, I can retire now? No, they don't. That's the biggest problem with that. And that's what we're seeing right now. It's not perfect, but as we say in the program, progress, not perfection. And the progress I've seen in my short little lifetime has been pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing that you can see, whether you like this stuff or not, you can see pride being celebrated out in the open across cities across America. I don't honestly know what the problem is. I live in San Francisco, where anybody could live pretty much any kind of lifestyle pretty freely and openly, and they are not going to get shit from anybody ever.
We went
it's
from
pretty chill here, except if you're, I don't know, you need to go to the bathroom. But
well, I mean, we went from, speaking of San Francisco, we went from people ignoring the AIDS epidemic in its infancy to pride parades, and ignoring it because it was only affecting the gay community. When it was AIDS was called the gay cancer. And now we have parades and a whole month, and it's just openly accepted. And as soon as, gay marriage became okay, what became next? Well, the bathroom debate. They just took these people, this part of the population that's already going through their own personal internal struggles and finding themselves, and using them as a prop, as a token to try and create more division. It's sickening, this SJW
not
culture.
even 1% of the population, not even a 0.1% of the population. They were struggling to find relevancy. And maybe I got to ask the question out loud. I mean, I hear about normalizing. Is that what they really want? Do you really want because normalizing means you're going to get criticized when you do something bad, and you're not protected anymore. You are a normal member of society, what you've been striving for this entire time. That has happened. It's happened. It is pretty damn normal now. That's why I don't get impressed when there's so much goddamn, actually, I think, honestly, I'll say it, I don't care. It's overrepresented in Hollywood. If you look at the percentages of America, it's and really overrepresented in comic books. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and there's a way to do it tactfully. There's a way to do it in art that presents the subject well, but don't bludgeon us with it. Don't make it the reason for the art.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
And I agree with that. That's the BBC right now is so guilty of this. I'm still looking for it because I know it exists, but there's a memo basically that you have to achieve. You have to do a certain amount of things within any form of art you make on the BBC. Now you have to represent, we'll just say, a differently abled person. You have to they got to be in the screen for 30 seconds, and you got to have Bechtel test stuff where you have to have 2 women not talking about a man for this amount of time. Okay, and now you can write a script. That's basically what's going on now. Kills art.
Well, that is crazy. Well, like with my skit thing that I'm doing with everybody, like I have at least 50 people that are gonna have actual dialogue, and then I'm still gonna want other people in it, but they cannot have like main dialogue. I have to put them there in a way that will work. I can't give everybody lines like that interact, because then it's just here's here and then here's them and here's this and that. It'd just be a lot of talking but nothing happening, just random, no cohesive.
There's a horrible term for that in Hollywood. It's called killing your babies.
Yeah, they completely miss the point. The art is most impactful when there's passion, when there's zeal behind it, right?
Yep.
Like you completely miss the point of art, the entire reason for its existence, when you're not doing something that you're actually passionate about in the first place. It's the reason why we watch things like Star Wars and it rings true for us and it holds and it stands the test of time, right? But if there's no real zeal behind it, if it's all about numbers and hitting this point and hitting that marker, then the whole point of art is missed when you like from the get-go. You can't even start off on the right foot when that's what your end game or your goal is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe I misinterpreted it, but I used to see art as if you want, it's a mirror reflected on society. Not all the time, but if you want to like help change somebody's mind, you charm them and you like try to empathize with them. If you really want to try to change somebody's mind, or at least just show them another side, you don't want to start out by alienating them. And it seems like art used to be that. And now art is F you. I'm just going to show this side and shame you while I'm at it.
Yeah.
Well, it's also why we keep getting these, one-dimensional, one-note, like Mary Sue type characters, because instead of writing a character that fits best in the story, they're writing the character like gender first. So it's like, okay, maybe the story would make more sense with, let's say, a white male protagonist because it takes place in Texas, and let's say his race actually has to do with the story. You might get a director coming in and say, no, we have enough movies with the white male leads. We're getting hit pretty bad on Twitter. Let's go ahead and replace him with someone else. And then it doesn't even make sense to the film or the character.
Well, you know what the white guys need to say to need detractors? They should just say, well, this wasn't made for you.
Yeah. Yes.
But, in honesty, Gary, you made me think of, so I was originally going for a degree that would apply to coaching for football because I didn't play in high school. And one of the second tier, there's a big list of random classes, and I ended up getting a leadership class. And generally, this is for a scholarship track. And so all the kids in there are going for the scholarship. They do all this extracurricular stuff. They've done debate teams and stuff. And generally, they are a part of the liberal horde. They know all these talking points. And so that's how they know how to argue. And I remember they're talking about diversity and this and that. And I'm from Oklahoma, which is, sort of a mixed state, even though it's red. Been in the army and stuff in Afghanistan. So I got a good range of perspective, I think. And I was talking to him about Planet of the Apes as an example, the 68 one where it's yeah, it's about civil rights, but really it's about the pendulum of power and how it never really stops and centers itself. It's just going to swing back and forth. So, they put the white man in their place in this fictional universe to show perspective, but again, it shows you the pendulum, not equality. And I was telling him, when is it enough? When is it enough for your push for equality? When do you have it? When are you going to worry about the white minority someday and White History Month? And they were so triggered by this. And it shows you they're not actually here for equality. They're not here for actual diversity. They're here to, unfortunately, like you see with very deemed radical channels like Sinatra Says, or even Tim Pool and stuff, where it's really just a hate whites, hate males culture.
Yeah,
it's power. It is for that. And I cannot believe Sinatra Says got demonetized. I was shocked.
I know. I love him
to see that. Yeah, he was on Ricada last night. God, that was terrible.
Well,
What's been going on?
I think that's a good transition to our main topic for this evening, which is the future of YouTube, or the future of content creating, the future of basically what we do. So Nerdrotic, I heard a little bit about what was going on with the Vox Apocalypse and the Adpocalypse thing. Do you want to refresh everybody what that is?
Yeah, so it started out as a personal beef between a person I had never heard of before yesterday, Carlos Maza, who works for Vox, a $1 billion media corporation. That is very important to remember. He's had a beef with Steven Crowder. Steven Crowder makes response videos to his Vox videos, which are available here. Like, Carlos Maza is not a content creator, but he works for Vox, which has a channel here on YouTube. Another very important thing. So they just make videos tit for tat at each other. And Steven Crowder used in the guise of comedy, used some very provocative language that I back 100% within the realms of comedy. I think comedy is allowed to do, again, whatever it wants and be as disgusting as it wants, because it's comedy and it's very important to society. So Carlos Maza didn't like that, and he had been basically harassing YouTube for the last couple weeks. Now, mind you, Steven Crowder's, all of his videos were reviewed already and deemed okay, and then reviewed again and deemed okay again, and then he was demonetized completely.
Wow.
And along with him, because Carlos Maza said this isn't just about Steven Crowder, he went after YouTube as a whole. Everybody. That's Black Angus Reviews, Rookie Critic, Mary Mayhem, me, Jeremy. We're now all caught in the crossfire. And as we just spoke about, Sinatra Says, who is a political channel. They went after the right-wing political channels, which to me is like outright bigotry, but that's just me. But that's only the beginning. So it's another adpocalypse. It's got everybody freaked out, especially since some people got, like, again, Sinatra Says, not that provocative, to be honest with you. I've heard much worse, and there is much worse. But it was one-sided. It was wrong. Now, I think a lot of these channels will get their demonetization or their monetization back in 30 days, and I don't think Steven Crowder ever will. And they're prepping for the election. And I'd hate to get political.
Nerdrotics.
Yeah.
Nerdrotics. Geoff TheIronWolf. I'm going to break in. Actually, Steven Crowder was.
You're coming in very robotic, Wolf.
He had to get rid of that shirt that said, he had to get rid of the shirt that said.
Wolf.
If I can't hear a word you're saying, man, you're breaking up. So
I don't know where you are on the road, but we couldn't hear.
I was watching the live.
Hey, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah. Here, just one sec, Wolf. Let him finish real quick.
All right, so Iron Wolf's talking about the T-shirt, and now so they removed the T-shirt and they're still demonetized. They could reapply. Now, I haven't seen anything this morning. I was watching his live. I watched all of Steven Crowder. First time I've ever seen a Steven Crowder live stream all the way through. By the way, just in solidarity, I signed up for his goddamn mug club. I don't think I'm ever going to watch any of his videos, but I just did it because I was pissed. Okay. And that's what he created. By the way, he just helped Steven Crowder quite a bit. In doing this, and YouTube did too, and they half-assed this. They're not going to take Steven Crowder's videos away, but they're going to bury him. They're going to black hole him. And so he had a T-shirt that said "Socialism is for figs." Okay, F-I-G-S, F-I-G-S, and it's supposed to be a play on figs. And you got to look into the story behind that. And they asked him to remove that link, so but the link got removed by YouTube. And then they were doing a live stream last night. Their monetization wasn't back, and they said specifically they were waiting for a library of videos that a comprehensive list. I'm sorry, from YouTube to show what they did wrong, so they could either fix the problem to reapply for monetization. YouTube did not. They said to the lawyer they would respond with that, and then they responded with 2 videos that were old. One was a year old. One was 5 years old.
Yeah, it was something insane.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So they're being very vague with their rules on purpose, because we're caught between this. Are they a publisher or are they a platform? And there's a big difference there. So
to get a little political, I think Trump needs to step in with the government and be like, look, you either are a publisher and you can do all this stuff, or you're a platform and you back off. I mean, I am not really big when it comes to the feds coming in and regulating, but in this instance, it's the only way we're ever going to get a clear, solid, black and white line. This is publisher. this is platform. Step a toe over, you're going to get treated one way or the other. And that would help solve a lot of our problems.
Well, sorry, go on.
Oh no, I was agreeing. I was like, yeah, I completely agree, because as long as they're a gray area, then they're going to be able to pick and choose what people they want to deplatform, what people they want to demonetize, and what voices they want to silence. Like, are you a platform or are you a publisher? It needs to be defined.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And when Vox Media can weaponize a person, by the way, during Pride Month, let's not mistake the timing of this. Carlos Maza decided to use the timing of Pride Month to do this. This was absolutely, in my opinion, planned by Vox Media, who is
Nerdrotics. Go watch the newest Sargon of Akkad video. He actually goes through and explains this theory.
So again, so I think it's planned by Vox to take out their competition, which is us. And simply, I see a lot of YouTubers getting, and listen, I understand they're upset. Be upset. Feel your feelings. I get you, but don't kneel to this shit. We need to take on Vox. And honestly, I don't know if we can, but not trying is not a good solution. If we want to be solution based, we go after Vox's advertisers. We go after them just like they went after this. You go after my income, it's on. So I'm going to do something. And if you guys want to do something, cool. If not, cool. But I'm going to do something. And if it does nothing, so what? At least I tried.
What is it?
Well, Nerdrotics, I've been putting out videos left and right. Oh, and by the way, I'm also a Giants fan. I grew up right around the Bay Area, so go Giants.
Go Giants.
What do you have in mind to do, Gary? Like, if there was any advice that you could give to us, because like I'm this tiny little channel, right? I'm only under review for monetization, not even there yet, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little scared, and I would like to believe that there's a future for me here on YouTube, but stuff like this throws that into question. So, what is it that you're planning to do? What could we possibly model ourselves after here to take some action, to do something to fight back?
So what I would do is, for one, go at everything respectful. So no, and I'm not saying you would, Mary, because you're a very classy person, and so are you people in the chat. But just like, it doesn't help anybody with any threats or name calling. So be 100% respectful, but scornful. Like I put out a tweet. I put out a tweet just saying that, like, why are you trying to starve my kid? And I added Vox. So, and I didn't even add that he's got Asperger's, but I could have. And stuff like that, start trolling them lightly, to find out who their advertisers are. I think that's very important. And if anything in numbers, so this YouTube reacted to Carlos Maza. This is just one dude and his little following on Twitter. That was it. It got an entire $1 billion company to blink. So, well, if he can do that to them, why can't we do that to Vox? Vox, who's in financial trouble. They can't afford to lose advertisers.
Yeah, isn't Vox the company that like was disclosed, like Disney poured a bunch of money in them and they've like stopped or something?
I think that was Vice. I honestly don't know.
No. They also did Vox, but NBC also pumped a lot of money into Vox.
They pumped like 200 million. And funny enough, side note, I believe, I might be mistaken, but I believe Collider is owned by Vox as well.
Well,
so read from
I
that.
will
what
look
you
into
will.
that. Well, okay, so NBC Universal owns Fandango, Rotten Tomatoes, Vox. God, I'll find out about Collider. But a lot of coordination going on protecting is. Why is YouTube protecting NBC? Why are they freaking protecting them? It's a competitor. It's a competitor. You fell on your own sword for a competitor. Now, this is going to be
Gary,
temporary.
also on top of it.
Hold on, Wolf.
This is good. This is going to be this isn't the end of the world. All right. But we do need to fight back. I think all of us making videos yesterday and live streaming, and I think that was important. It showed YouTube how much they fucked up, and they fucked up. Like I mean, you cannot do that in business. Like, who in the hell is running things? And you got to be frustrated if you're working for YouTube. If you're one of those people who's probably watching this live stream, I understand your frustration. I do, because the Susan well, I can't even say her last name.
What's it?
She's a CEO. She has no knowledge of what goes on here. She's just there to paint a smile on and shake hands. But YouTube is actually something really special. YouTube, it can be the king of the streaming wars. They could destroy, and it wouldn't cost you guys a cent. It wouldn't cost you a cent if you just backed your creators. Sometimes I understand there has to be rules. I get it, and please tell us what they are so we can live by them.
Yes.
But
Okay, so
just one sec, real quick. So we got Midnight's Edge After Dark just joined us. What's up, Tom? You there, Tom? Oh, come on. He said he's doing something, I think, but I just wanted to get him in if you wanted to get a word in on this real quick too. Did you guys? But until he comes back, did you guys get an email from YouTube today about anything? So
No, not yet.
I got one from Susan something from the YouTube team that's like, oh, it's our like YouTube newsletter or something for creators, and it's like a 3-minute video, and then a link to the source. And I was going to share that with you guys real quick, see what you guys think, because toward the end they comment on the community guidelines and stuff, and I just want to see what you guys think of that. You guys see the screen okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So they're like saying, since so many creators have told us that the community guideline systems felt inconsistent and confusing, we updated our policies to a simpler, more transparent system. Every creator now gets a one-time warning that allows them to learn about our policies before they face penalties on their channel. Each strike, no matter if it comes from the videos, thumbnails, or links, gets the same penalty. On top of adding new mobile and in-product notifications about the strike, our email and desktop notifications will provide more details on which policy was violated. Did you guys get an email like that or know anything about that?
I did get the creator monthly.
No.
Yeah, it's the monthly one. Yeah.
No, I believe that that's no different than a few months ago when they first changed it and announced the changes. But what sticks out to me, and before I make this point, I also want to do some housekeeping because I just looked it up, and Collider was actually owned by Complex, not Vox, so I got that mixed up. But with the YouTube guidelines, what really scares me about them is not only that they're subject to change on a dime, but it keeps inching its way towards a world where only big established media is going to have the rights to put anything in their videos. And it seems like more and more it's harder for any small creator to be able to make a video, with clips, with music, of the quality that it could be. It's only going to be these big companies that can reach out and get the rights to certain, songs, certain movie clips. And there's going to come a day where they exclusively have that right. And it's really scary to me. And honestly, we were talking about whether it's a publisher or a platform. I think whether YouTube likes it or not, as long as it's beholden to advertisers, it's going to be a publisher, because they're going to be at the mercy of public outrage and advertisers pulling out like the Adpocalypse. Of course, they're going to cower to them before they do the creators, because that's where the big money
is. It working now?
There you are.
We'll hear you. Okay, I was about to resend it if it wasn't working yet.
No, it was my microphone. I couldn't get it to work for some. I was talking before. I thought you guys heard me at first, and I'm like,
no. I was like, Tom usually would have at least said, hey, real quick.
Oh yeah, I said a couple things, like when Gary was talking about people running YouTube. I'm like, call them and they'll tell you nobody runs YouTube. There's nobody there.
It really isn't.
Bots.
No, I've been inside the building recently, like for the last 6 months.
It's funny you guys are talking about. Wow, it's more funny that this all came down the last couple of days, because we just talked about this on the podcast not even a week ago. Were you on that show, Mary?
Which one?
Where we were talking about where I said that one of these days, what it's going to take for all this shit to hit a fever point is for somebody to fuck with somebody so bad that like Doomcock or Gary or us or somebody has to turn around and sue one of these people, because they're not stopping and thinking that, yeah, we may be talking about a movie we don't like, a TV show we don't like, but they're attacking us personally. Mm-hmm. Like Gary's a prime example, what he just had to go through with his wife. That's the kind of thing that's actually what brought it up. That's what we were talking about, was that situation. I said, sooner or later, this is what it's going to happen, because these people are fucking with our livelihood, basically. And we're not fucking with their livelihood by talking about a movie or a TV show.
That's why, yeah, I totally agree. And the your boy Zach and Mark Wade lawsuit is that lawsuit. It's important. I don't think I'm now, listen, it's taken on Mark Wade, but Mark Wade, and it's off YouTube, but Mark Wade interfered. Zach wanted to, Richard Meyer wanted to make a comic book on his own, and Mark Wade interfered with that, tortious interference. So God, I hope he wins that lawsuit. It's going to be tough, but you're right. You know, like Vox, because they used Carlos Maza. Okay, and this, again, my opinion, totally coordinated attack. Look at the timing, look at the person doing it, look who he works for. And yeah, you're right, Tom. It's going to have to get personal at some point. Also, I want to point out, I owned a small business here in California for 10 years. My wife owns one right now. I know a few labor laws. Okay, a couple. I made myself aware of them. YouTube is definitely breaking one. I think that they just they must have some exemption because of the fact that they're a platform or something. But just in paying people here in California, by law, you need to be given a statement every month in detail where every penny comes from. Period. If I don't provide that to my employee, I get sued and fined.
Google makes it a bitch to do taxes too.
Yep. Yeah. So like, I don't know how they get around. Again, they must have some exemption. I'm sure they've thought about it. I'm not saying I thought of something they haven't, believe me. But and maybe that law needs to be changed because they need to, because so much money is getting involved now. I'm pretty damn sure the government is going to get involved. They've been kind of leaving Google alone here in California for a long time because Google's making them a ton of money, but there will come a day. There will come a day where they will. This is California. They, you know, you gotta.
Gary.
Yo.
Well, Gary. Well, right now, federally, they're already being under investigation for antitrust lawsuits from the government.
As they should.
Google's already being investigated.
Not surprised.
What's funny too.
And Rookie. One more thing. To reply to what Sith was saying earlier before Tom showed up. A lot of content creators, especially the ones getting demonetized or some who are being banned, everybody's starting to make the migration towards BitChute. In fact, today I just started up a channel over there, and I might actually start throwing some of my videos over there for the sheer fact of BitChute is basically going, yeah, everything YouTube's doing, yeah, we're not going to do that.
For now, but yeah.
I still stick with Twitch.
And here she is.
Mecca! I'm finally on stream with Mecca!
I
The
saw
vivacious.
it so late. I always am
the
so busy
ebullient.
always.
The harpy ninja herself.
Yes.
Award-winning chef.
In the flesh.
I know. I
In the
I'll stop. It's a trademark.
I can't do it like Rob does it. Sorry.
I know.
Man, I hit a triple play here. I got on stream with Nerdrotic, Mecca Random, and Tom of Midnight's Edge. Dude, this is a great day.
I just wrapped a video like recording. I set it to premiere, and then I'm like, oh shit, you guys are live. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
It happens.
I know.
Actually, I know Gary Nerdrotic said, be respectful. Yeah, I launched a video about 2 hours ago where I called Carlos Maza a terrible person, and I listed my reasons why.
If you said terrible person, that's being respectful. I mean, we don't want to call them any names that start with F or anything like that.
Right.
We
mainly just want to say, I think my opinion is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Because once they come after you, that's going to be the only thing that's going to save anybody's ass. And it really might not save anybody's ass. It's like I've had to turn around and tell Rob to take it a little easy on some of the stuff he says lately, because they could come after any of us at any time saying, oh, that violates our policy right there. Slam, you're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and
that's
you know,
why
the second
I made
they do
that.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Mecca.
I was going to say, the second they do that, I go to the local news. Like last time when Star Trek was bullying me, I started tweeting at CBS, at ABC, at CBS Denver, you know, and they dropped their copyright strike pretty quickly. And, you know, so I am concerned, but I think we have a lot of means to fight back, and I think we can change, and I think we can fix some of this. I think we can fix some of the stupid crap in our society. I think we can use this. And I've been watching a lot of the Quarterings videos today in the background while I'm editing stuff. And from what I've been kind of thinking, and my gears have been going, we can use a lot of this as an opportunity to kind of self-police and self-protect, and so we can kind of push for some of the implementations in Twitch and YouTube and all of these platforms to say, you know what, if you don't like something, you don't
Like
have
a
to see
union
it.
almost.
You can use tools, you can utilize blocking keywords. You really need to leave it up to you what you want to see and what you don't. And I think we need to kind of put into place something where YouTube is held a little more accountable for putting measures into place and making people use them, instead of just saying, okay, we're just going to deplatform everybody. Like, no, you want to put out filters to censor words that people are offended by, let them use them if they choose to or not. If they want to swear and cuss or whatever, as long as it's not a physical threat of violence to an individual, we still are protected under free speech to a certain extent. And I get that YouTube's platform is this their baby, and they have to appease to the advertisers, and it's 100% within their right to do so. But I think we kind of, as a society, we can use this, even if YouTube dies in the process, as a way to say, you know what, individuals have the right to choose what they want to see and what they want to hear. And it's not up to Big Brother and Mommy and Daddy to babysit and police everybody, unless there's actually a crime being committed that actually hurts somebody. I'm a big girl. If you want to call me names, come at me. I'll call you some back, right?
Right, Mecca, just to jump on that one, I put out my video and I said this directly, pointed towards Carlos Maz, like, you show me in the Constitution any federal law, state or local, where it says you have the right not to be offended.
You don't.
Show me where.
Right, and that's the biggest issue. And we're getting to a point where, but the thing is, like Mecca brought up, YouTube is a platform, just like Facebook, just like Twitter, and you have to abide by certain rules. We get that. But I think Mecca's onto something about some kind of union, and I'll get back to that in a second here too, because that's the big thing is, I hate to quote Bill Maher, but he's right. We've got up to a point in a society where instead of the parents and other people, protecting their own children and looking out for their own kids and paying attention to what's going on out there, they're expecting all of us to childproof the world for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tom, this is Buck Angus and Mecca. I know you retweeted this. I was wondering, want to get your take. I didn't know you would come on here. That like phishing scam I got, like I wasn't fooled by it, but I was just in the heat of the moment seeing that, just having a stream that, we had some vulgarity and stuff, of course, because it's utter chaos. Just having that and recent uploads where I re-uploaded something that said spam, and I'm like, oh crap, but then what was fishy was, of course, them asking false info where it's like, you can just go into my account and do this yourself if you're YouTube, that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just wondering your thoughts, and Tom and whoever else on the panel.
Oh, that's a similar. It's just a scam. I think it's one of those similar things, like when you sell something on eBay and somebody doesn't pay you, but they get your email address, and then they email you and say, hey, you're locked out of your eBay account, and then they use your eBay account, and then they get your password. It's just another one of these little scams.
Yeah, it's a phishing scam.
Yeah, it's just somebody trying to steal your money.
Well, you can thank Social Blade for that.
Yeah, never respond to anything that has anything to do with YouTube ever, unless you know it's coming from YouTube directly.
Oh, I don't respond to any email. If I get an issue with YouTube, I go right to
you go to YouTube
channel.
yourself. Yes,
you usually don't need to have a response anyway, right?
Given the time frame right now with this Mazda stuff with the Vox Adpocalypse, I was just wondering if you thought maybe if you foresee this being like a big thing going down with people being afraid of, like, I'm trying to get monetized, so is Mary. Drunk 3PO's waiting on his. Rookie is close to 1,000. I don't know his watch time. So it's like a lot of us young people in the famous that are, hoping the work we've put in for give or take a year now will be rewarded. And now it's like, oh, is YouTube about to die when I've finally hit my mark?
Well, I know what you mean, because when I got brought on to Midnight's Edge, it was right after the first Adpocalypse and just before the second one. And there's still times where I'm not 100% sure what the hell is going to happen to After Dark. So, I mean, we're doing okay over there, but we're not doing nearly as well as we should be. And, part of it's just because we're goof-offs, I'm sure. But another part of it is...
You're not working the algorithm. You're not
working the algorithm. The algorithm doesn't like us. That's a big issue. And to get back to Mecca's point about what we need to do is we need to do what we're already doing, and that is band together. You know, and guys like us, like Nerdrotic and Jeremy over at Geeks and Gamers, and all those guys have already, you know, put their heads out there to like say, hey, we're not going to stand for this. We don't care if it's the little guys or the big guys, you know. And that's the best part is we all have banded together, and that's one reason why we've never gotten into any kind of YouTube beef, because it's pointless. We'd rather work with people whether we agree with them or not, because we're all on the same platform. We all basically work at the same place. Yeah. You know, you got to look at it. It's like we all work at Burger King. Who wants to like argue with the guy who runs the drive-thru? You know, you don't want to argue with him. He's your coworker. You know, you want to work it out. You know, so that's something that's a big deal to me, is to stay away from the YouTube beef, and we all need to band together 100% and have each other's backs no matter what. Unless obviously somebody says or does something really stupid, then obviously don't. But
yeah, and I think that it's important too that we do this now. Like I know Geoff was mentioning everyone's hopping ship to BitChute, but I have a big feeling, because YouTube was once like BitChute, believe it or not. I have a feeling unless we face this now, unless we address this now and make our stand now and make it change now here on YouTube, it's just going to follow onto the other platforms.
Right.
So
that
100% right. 100%
yeah, I actually
right.
did make that point in another video of, and I used the quote, the famous Picard quote from First Contact. We keep falling back. We keep making compromise. No more. The line must be drawn here.
Right.
This far. No further.
And the best part is, even though some of us are really small channels, you know, even though I'm part of a bigger channel too, I do have a small channel. So I feel the pain. I know what you guys are going through. You know, I work for the main channel basically. So I am kind of like in the same boat as some of these little channels. So I know how it feels. I know the fear of waking up tomorrow and seeing that fucking email and not seeing the little green, you know, $sign on your account. I've had other accounts in the past that have had the same thing. I got an account that's got almost 3,000 subscribers on it. Still can't get it monetized.
Wow.
Yeah, well, you know, it's funny too. I don't know if any of y'all mentioned this, because I've been in and out because I'm, you know, cleaning. But I made a video where I was months ago, and so this is why I would do the quick bullshit videos about Captain Marvel with the Rotten Tomatoes, because this was my golden goose for my theory with Star Wars theory and the copyright and all this, and I stand firm by that. I did like a compilation of like all the things that Disney's been doing since around Last Jedi time. And one of them no one's talked about, and I think this is why you can't avoid politics now, is Disney, they had, I think, like a fifth or a tenth of the viewership that Crowder did for his like boycott the Oscars coverage.
Yeah.
And they like copyright struck them, and so then they couldn't stream until Half Asian lawyer fixed it or whatever, went to, you know, battle again like always. And so I wouldn't be surprised with some Disney stuff too, especially with the Harloff coverage, where it's like this is all cumulative. And I'm not saying the Phantom Menace is like the reason they're doing this, but there's a lot of distrust in the media, and that's why they come to people like us, where it's like we're sticking, you know, we want our content to represent our reputation. Okay, so we're putting it on the line every time, so we have to be consistent. We can't flip flop because we don't have backers unless we go out and find them to sponsor us. And they're scared of that. It's just like they're scared of Star Wars theory. If he could, you know, actually get an IP of like Cyberfrog and get the deal with EBS to like make that a production and make money on it, you know, they're scared of true indie productions and stuff.
Oh
and
yeah,
I really think it's all tied together in some elaborate way.
Well, and I was saying though, is, you know, even though we may not all have the most subscribers on whatever given channel we're from or on, or your own personal channel, all together we have many. And that's the thing, is if we turn around and say, look, we're all in this together, either you're going to listen to us or start working with us, or we're just going to go somewhere else. Like I think Gary said the same thing earlier too, you know, and they'll have to listen to us if we all stay together and stick together, you know, and basically like make our own little union is kind of what we almost have to do.
I mean, we have to make YouTube understand, stop biting the hand that feeds you. I mean, yeah, some of the corporations do bring in bucks, but all of us combined bring you the billions.
Yeah, we bring
cut off a portion of that. That's going to be part of your bottom line that you're going to have to explain to all your investors and stockholders.
And that's why I've always said it's bullshit when they try to say that YouTube doesn't make any money, because they get so much off of us.
What?
Mary, you were saying something. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh no, I just think it's crazy that like they're essentially forcing echo chambers at this point, right? Like I don't think anyone here on this panel has any desire to live within an echo chamber. I think we're all fairly open-minded people who are willing to listen to counter opinions and willing to sort of talk things out, debate things out, and do so in a respectful way. But when YouTube acts like this, when they push you to a point where you feel like you have no choice, you have to leave, and like-minded people will follow, and you go and you sort of start a new thing, right? Because that's what happens when things like this go down. That's what happened with America, right? We left England because we felt like we could do it better. There's a better way to do it. But then you force people into this position where there are echo chambers that are abounding everywhere. And it is terrible for society. It's absolutely detrimental. We need opposing ideas in order to grow, in order to evolve, and have the kind of process of thought that compels society forward. This is absolutely terrible for society.
Right,
Yeah,
you're
very
absolutely
true.
right. You're absolutely right with that, because look at what like Star Trek or Babylon 5 or something teaches us. You know, you're going to have different points of view. The Orville, most recently too. You need to find compromises. You know, there's all kinds of political things that I'm not going to get into where people are not going to agree. You're never going to come to like a one side is right or another. And there's a lot of like issues out there that are like that. But you can kind of understand why somebody feels that way, and you can kind of be a little more accommodating to each side, and you kind of have to give on both sides to see where people are coming from. But no, we've got some sides that say, no, I am right, and we are going to shut you up if you disagree with us.
Yeah, and
Well,
it's
back
like,
up.
how are we
People
supposed
have-
to ever solve any difficult or hard issue ever if we can't bring up difficult and hard truths? You know, like it almost like dooms us to just, you know, make the mistakes of the past that we should be learning.
Well,
And that's
they
exactly the point.
They don't learn from the past, because they would sooner rewrite the history and
Yes.
pretend it didn't happen because
talk
it was
about this how
politically
often?
incorrect. Yeah, all the
We talk
time.
about that
here's
all
the
the time.
thing.
All right, well, I've got a question for the audience here, or for everybody here in the panel and the audience, everybody. So with all that, knowing all that, going forward, do you think that other companies that see YouTube and everything it's done, they've been leading the way for the longest time, that by now or anytime soon, they'll start becoming competition? Like, because I feel like they need a competitor big time to realize we got to make sure that we're good so that they don't go over to somebody else that's going to rise up. What do you guys think?
Gary, you want to start with that?
It would be very, very tough at this point for YouTube to have a legit competitor. Twitch is probably the closest thing right now, and they need to be more supportive of videos. It's pretty much mainly live streaming, as far as I know. There's DLive, there's BitChute. But you're right, they need a competitor. But what they did in the beginning was, and Steven Crowder went over this in his video, that they courted people. They courted right wing, left wing, all kinds of people to come on. That's why they created the partnership program. They did that to hook you in. First hit's free, give you a little bit of the income, wiped out the competition, and now they can arbitrarily do whatever the hell they want because there's enough competition to not call it a monopoly. But there's not enough to be any serious competition. And then, of course, they lay on the extra layer of, well, we really don't make any money, to make us content creators feel powerless over the whole situation. Like making a union, it would never happen. But I think a loose group of collective voice, like you said, Tom, I think it happened naturally. We're all pissed, and we all came up in defense of a guy that I haven't watched a video of in 2 years, but he certainly has every right to exist. I got political on my channel for the first time, and I'm not afraid to do it now because we have to. There's a point where we have to fight. And I've been talking to some other YouTubers behind the scenes. There's been a lot of discouragement, and I understand that. I get it, but this is the time you fight. You man up and woman up, and honestly, Vox, we need to. We want to take out our anger and stuff. Vox caused this. YouTube, we can't. I don't want to punish YouTube. It's my platform, and I'm really disappointed in them, and they fucked up and they fell on their own sword. But Vox caused this. They have advertisers. We can get them legally. We can make life hard for them. I don't think we can defeat them or anything, but we just need to pass a message on that, like, this isn't something we need to do. This is like the prison yard. Okay,
like
somebody punches you in the mouth, you have to fight back whether you like it or not. Whether the guy could be 100 pounds more than you, if you don't sit there and fight, then you're a punk the entire time you're in prison, and your life will be terrible. So you have to fight back to at least maintain some respect. That's what needs to happen right now.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah, that's the big thing Andre was always adamant about, was we're never going to go off of YouTube unless we're forced off. And we made a decision now, until we get our website up, we're not putting any of our stuff on any other platforms for that reason. We're loyal to YouTube. YouTube's been very good to us. It's been very good to a lot of us in the community. Don't get us wrong. But like Gary said, they are technically, Mecca brought it up earlier too, they're technically biting the hand that feeds them. So we cannot allow that to keep happening. We cannot allow them to just walk in and say, oh, we're going to change the rules like Vader and Empire, you know? And if you don't like it, well, you better shut the hell up or we're going to make it worse. Because that's basically what they're trying to do to us now. And, oh yeah, Vox, Disney, CBS, you name it, these are the fuckers behind it. You know, I'm laying it on the line here because we're on Rookie Critics, and I know not a lot of people are probably going to see this, but no offense, Rookie, but it's under the radar a little bit. But I'll be 100% fucking honest with you. I know these fuckers are out to get us all.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
look what happens with CBS.
Allegedly.
I get more views. I've pointed it out time and time again on my channel. I get more views than Star Trek's official YouTube channel on my videos talking about how they're going to ruin Picard, in my opinion. And they get so pissed. It's like, and you know, they strike me, and I make a video that shows every time they have stalked my channel. I use words like stalk, harass, bully, intimidate, because I know they're powerful, because I know it drives the point home that what they're doing. And I give them proof that, see, this is manually detected. They are watching, they are stalking my channel by looking for these videos from months and months and months ago.
And Gary said it earlier, yeah.
And I call them on their crap, and I use that sort of language because it's effective. You know?
We got world class in the chat.
Yeah.
What up, Geoff? Hey, real
Jeff.
quick, can I show you something on Twitter? It looks like there was some friendly fire. One of Carlos Mazza's people got hit, and he's this is pretty funny. This came to me as a direct message on Twitter. Here, I'm gonna. There you go.
All right,
What's happening to Ford is effing awful. He's a good journalist doing important work. I don't understand how YouTube is still so bad at this. How can they not differentiate between the white supremacist content, which he was calling Steven Crowder white supremacist content, by the way, and good faith reporting on white supremacy? So, yeah.
Welcome to the jungle. This is what we're all fucking saying. You make up the rules as you go. This is what's going to happen, folks. Sooner or later, they're going to get somebody you like. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in there, Gary.
No, that's absolutely preach, my friend. This is hilarious. And thanks. Who shot that to me?
We've seen the same thing with Game of Thrones.
Matthew. Thanks, Matthew.
All these people that were like, oh, it's the YouTubers and the toxic fans that are ruining Star Wars and Star Trek and Captain Marvel. But then all of a sudden, Game of Thrones isn't so great. And then like, fuck you, HBO. Oh, that sounds familiar. How is it all of a sudden when something you care about is going awkward, then you give a shit? And we've seen the same thing with it. What was it? Not too far back, they redid something. Was it Charmed or one of the other shows like that?
It was Buffy. They were gonna do Buffy, and Anita
Sarkeesian
Sarkeesian threw a temper tantrum, and I laughed. And I laughed, and I called her a C word for about 5 minutes.
Boy, it doesn't really. Yeah, it doesn't really feel nice when the shoes are on the other feet, does it?
Well, and what are we all here for if not to hold the people, the content creators of these beloved franchises, if not to hold their feet to the fire? You want us out there, YouTube. Entertainment needs us. We are there to keep things from getting completely and utterly derailed. It is important a job that we're doing here, because otherwise you don't have any real clue what you're doing in terms of the entertainment. The Game of Thrones was a perfect example. It went so completely sideways. Everyone's upset, but we're just trying to do the same thing. Make sure that this content remains good, remains something beloved. We're trying to help you.
Right, and that's true. And this is the older. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was just saying. I like it when she gets all.
Oh, Mary's good. This is why we bring her on.
Yep.
This is really something that a lot of the older panelists will totally understand. We've watched this happen in our lifetime. We've seen it go from, oh, we're sorry, we fucked up, to, You don't know what you like. We're going to feed you something. And if you don't like it, tough shit, eat it, swallow, and ask for more.
I'm sorry. We're trying to give you our money and you won't let us do it. You don't let us give you the money because you keep insulting us. I'm sorry. I want to throw all of my money at everything at Star Trek Las Vegas. I want to get excited. I want to buy everything with Picard on it because I love Next Generation. If you fuck up Picard, you are going to kill your entire franchise, Star Trek. They don't understand that, and they don't understand how passionate we get. And, they hear it because I hear, Sonequa Martin Green saying, oh, yeah, they're passionate. They want this. And I hear Alex Kurtzman's words saying, oh, yeah, it's going to be much fewer visual effects, and it's going to be more cerebral. And they use the words that we use because I know they're hearing us for Star Trek, and I know they hear us for Star Wars, and I know they hear us for all of that. But it's like you guys don't understand. You cannot keep insulting people who give you money and expect to have a business. You're gonna go by the way of like all of Kmart and Toys R Us. Only they didn't insult us nearly as bad. They just gave us crap that we didn't want, and Sears and all the retail places. And we don't want fast food. We don't want, I'm trying to think of how many of these like diners that are going out of business too, these chains. That's what we're getting. We're getting kind of like these chain franchise experiences.
Yeah, I used to use the prime rib example. I'd say you go in and pay for prime rib, and then somebody throws a slab of hamburger at you, and they're like, "What?"
Well, and it's also like they don't. They have the right to make what they want, but it's like one of the things that I think they lack the most is the passion. Like I haven't felt passion with half these new projects at all.
No, they're formula. We
made it for you. Here you go. Hold on, Steven, did you have something to say? I've been a little quiet lately.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt anybody. It was a change of mentality ever since the last presidential election, in my opinion. I look at things a little bit more politically, but it's been this obstinate stance against anyone who doesn't vote the way they want to vote or think that the way they want to think. And a lot of people that are lean liberal, or I like to say far left, because I have friends that are liberal and I consider them common sense, decent people. But you got these far left people that are out in Hollywood. And if you don't agree with them, then you are the bad guy. Then it doesn't matter what you think. Your opinion is invalid. And this kind of mentality has seeped into the art, where at one time it was contained and mostly kept out of it. And so now you've got these creators that are making, this bastardized Star Wars and terrible Trek, and they don't care about the product they're producing as long as they're pandering to a certain demographic. But that demographic doesn't support the franchise, hasn't been supporting the franchise for decades, doesn't love it, doesn't know the lines, doesn't know the lore. These are the people that they're labeling, and they're saying, oh, well, you don't agree with us, so you must be a white supremacist. It's like, no, they can't accept other kinds of opinions. And because they're so inflexible, it's destroying the entertainment that the escapism that we go to in our modern myths. That to me is the problem. It's everything's politicized.
Yeah, it's not just the fact that they're dispassionate and they don't care. It's even more so. I'm finding like an insecurity, like an abdication of responsibility and ownership for like their failure. Like instead of like being upset that they're not serving their customer, their fan base right, now we're hearing like, oh, it failed because the customers were too entitled. Like what backwards thinking.
Isn't that bullshit? That's exactly what they're doing. Well, no other business can you get away with this model ever.
Well, and it's like I'll use like as somebody who's trying to create film someday himself. Like I'm making a huge skit thing, and I'm trying to I hope that people like it. But honestly, I expect a lot of people don't like it, and I'm not gonna. I can't understand having the type of attitude that they do toward fans that criticize them, even if it's like passionate at criticism. Like I'd take it. I'd be like, okay, that's how you feel, all right. And even if I don't agree with them, I mean, I still respect them. Like, okay, that's what you think. Go ahead, fine, all right.
The difference, though, Geoff, is like you brought up yourself earlier when I was listening. The difference is you're doing these out of passion. You're doing these for the love of it. You're not doing it for the big buck. You're not some billion-dollar corporation that has no fucking excuse. Like, I know a lot of people like the new Godzilla movie, but I didn't like it so much. And I'm sorry, there's no excuse. You spent almost $200 million on a movie. It should not have been that bad. I don't care. And I have every right to say that because I paid for it. You spent that kind of money on it. You advertised it to me as one thing, and I got to the theater and it was something else. Now, I'm just using that as an example, not to piss anybody else off who liked it, but I'm just saying that's the way this works. You know what I'm saying? I have that right as a consumer. Just like if I walk into a restaurant and I buy a burger and it's not what I ordered, or it tastes like dog shit, I have the right to take it back up and ask for a refund or something
How
different.
dare you have an opinion?
I work
Right?
at Subway. I work at Subway, and I try to imagine applying the same mentality to my customers.
You wouldn't have a job very long.
No, it's
It's
a
like,
joke. It's the
You know,
soup
oh, you
not
don't like it?
Seinfeld.
You know, well, you're a troll or something. You're a misogynist. You're sexist. Get out here. Get out of my sandwich now. You know, it's like
You're just racist against us.
no,
You know,
no,
cold cuts.
say all these things. You're racist. You're a bigot. You're sexist. But also, I expect you to come back tomorrow and pay me again. I expect you to pay me some more for the future.
Yeah, and when I'm going to bring up the sandwich that you used to like, and I'm going to put it on the picture, but it's not going to be here, and you can't order it. We've
Right,
discontinued it.
You know that steak
Not
up there, the
for
big
you.
Philly cheese steak that you love, all grilled? No, that's let's just do a little thin ham sandwich now.
Mhm.
That's pretty much what it is. You're not wrong at all. That's a very good analogy there.
Hey, Rook, if I could I bring it back to the original question real quick? 'Cause it did
Yeah,
have a
yeah, yeah. I
point.
totally took it off. topic.
Props for my skit just arrived.
Thanks a lot, Tom.
Awesome. All right, so I believe the question was pertaining to whether or not one day there'll be a big competitor for YouTube. I actually think that that's kind of an irrelevant point, because are we so sure that a website big enough to be competitive with YouTube would look any different than YouTube would? I mean,
That's a
if you
good
look
point.
at Twitch, their policies are even more like puritanical than YouTube's are, believe it or not. Like I believe you can't even talk about politics. You can't even talk about like there's no more what's the term called, like dead naming. Like
Yeah,
their
they're trying
guidelines
to
are
get rid of
even
everything on Twitch. They're trying to get rid of emojis. They're trying to get rid of everything. But
Right.
see, Twitch has all of the things in place that you need to self-censor. If you don't want to see it, you can set up your thing to don't show me these words. You can filter out anything you want on Twitch. And that's one of the biggest problems that I have, is that nobody actually takes responsibility and does anything.
Oh,
You know,
that's-
they're just going to go and cry and make everybody else shut people up for them. Oh, they were mean to me. Did you block them? No.
No, but there. No, see, bringing that up brings up. Yeah, if you guys watch Rags, you know the guy on EFAP with Mahler and everybody. He brought up a good point in one of his solo videos a long time ago, where I think it was on Steam, where these people, or I don't know if it was Steam or an author for a book or something, made they literally made a Nazi book or something, which was whatever, and people wanted it removed completely. And I don't even know. I think it just went over the history of them. I don't even know what it was, but. But he was saying that they have the right to put it up there, and maybe 5 people watch it, maybe not. It's not up to you to choose what's okay for everybody else with everything.
No,
Oh,
and
exactly.
it's short-sighted, Rookie. I mean, that's what we're trying to tell people is like, yeah, okay, so these politics that you agree with, you have no problem with it until it flips, and it always flips. It will flip, and then you will be on the other side of it. And you know what? You got to look in the mirror then. If you let that stuff happen now, that's why we have to stop it here on YouTube and with entertainment before it gets to more well, it already is, but before it gets to more serious places, because nothing lasts forever and things can go sideways really quick. And yeah, sometimes it sounds hyperbolic and paranoia, but I mean, just stuff that I used to think was paranoia and hyperbolic 20 years ago, I'm starting to see come to fruition. Right. And it's disturbing. It's very
You're not wrong
disturbing.
at all. You're not wrong, and I don't think
Gary.
you're being hyperbolic at all, because really it's true. It's the situation we're in right now, and that's what I was trying to say before. And that's
Hey, Tom.
Yeah.
Tom, think about. I know I'm going to bring up some sore thumbs here, but think about the last episode of Game of Thrones where Tyrion has said, "We all cheered when we got rid of the bad people, but then all of a sudden she started going farther and farther, and we all kept cheering until it hit too close to home, and then we were all like, oh crap, maybe this wasn't such a good idea." It's gonna happen with YouTube. I mean, have you all seen the news articles that YouTube is gearing up to purge hundreds, if not thousands, of channels?
I wouldn't be surprised.
And it's not gonna stop. The noose is just gonna keep tightening, and the people who are cheering now are suddenly it's gonna get to them, and they're gonna start screaming bloody murder, and we're all gonna be like, you should have stood with us when you had a chance. Now it's too late.
Well, we're already seeing it. Yeah, we already just with that tweet that Gary showed us, and like I said before, even the alternatives, to get back to the original question again, the alternatives, like I said before, yeah, they're alternatives for now that are better than YouTube. But what happens when they get bigger.
And they're going to go after that too. Like
Yeah.
for instance, like I'm going to put all efforts into my website. So, but my website is on WordPress. So why they'll just go after WordPress, and then I'll have to go and have my own servers and host my own website. And then I'll have to affiliate with somebody, like they'll go after PayPal. It's just, we have to stop it here.
Is there a way to stop the cycle? Because it seems like that's the type of thing will happen. With
It's
other
kind of already
like,
a little too far.
If
We've
they
tried.
if they
to
send
slow
me
it
cash,
down,
they'll
but-
go after the post office. I mean, it's like, I'll have to go to your house and get it yourself, or I'll go collecting like back when I was a paper
It's getting that
boy.
bad because it started with the whole PayPal thing, or I mean not PayPal, but Patreon. Sorry, it's because Gary was just saying PayPal. My brain,
got all
drugs.
these other people coming in, and they're like, "Oh, we can't mention like Nazi Germany or history." It's like you can't learn to avoid this stuff if you censor all mention of it. You guys are so young, and so because I see so many of these young people coming right out of college who don't have any life experience or wisdom yet, and there's nothing wrong with that. I was dumb too, and young and stupid, and I still am. But you kind of have to learn and be more aware of everything around you and what has happened in the past. And this is why we keep telling people, and that we have to kind of just learn from what happened in the past.
Well,
And
Mecca.
me, I am on the left. I am LGBT. I am on the left, and I never get political on my channel, but I do have to sprinkle that in from time to time as a precaution, as a. Are you really going to try and censor somebody, an LGBT, liberal, whatever? Because I use that, and I use that to manipulate YouTube, and I use that to manipulate Google and the algorithm. And I don't like having to. I would rather not anybody know anything about my personal beliefs or viewpoints, and I'd rather not have to use that. But I'm cunning enough where I will. So.
Well, you kind of have to grow your business. And speaking of learning from history, who knows the significance of today? Twice in history in the same war.
Well, the thing is that if you keep removing all mentions of this stuff, and that really seems what they're hellbound and determined to do, you don't put the stops in place to prevent it from happening again in the future, right? Like, no one wants another Nazi Germany. No one wants anything like that to happen again. And the few rando crazies out there that do, you are literally empowering them for it to happen again. People who do not this kind of stuff happens, you're literally giving them what they want in order for something like this to take place again, because the only way that you can prevent a travesty from happening that you've already gone through is to make sure that people know about it. You inform them. And so to sit there and call people like us Nazis is the height of ignorance, because none of us want anything resembling that. If anything, we're all doing our best to try to prevent it.
Exactly.
Hell, some of us put on a uniform and tried to stop people who wanted shit like that.
Right?
To build
Not only that, they're also like punch Nazis on their Twitter profile. I'm like, you would never punch yourself in the face. Stop that. Just
to build up what you were saying, Mecca, was what I was thinking was like, what's the lesson of 1984? And to me, it's you can't think of the concept freedom if you don't know the word freedom. And that's what's happening slowly but surely. First it's with history, and I talk about this. People came after me because of my opinion about it. I think it was pretty fair. But I talked about John Wayne. And I was like, don't be surprised if people like John Wayne or whoever, they have a problematic viewpoint from like 50 years ago. They're going to try. They've already done it to Trump as a entertainment figure because he became president. Like his politics, they've smashed his star and stuff. Don't expect that to not happen to people that were problematic in the past. They're already trying to do it to history. Whatever you think of the Confederate monuments or whatever, whether they should keep them on the state grounds or move them in these states to like a museum, whatever. The fact they're just trying to destroy them and scrub them from history, it's already happening to real history. So don't think it's not going to happen to things that help you learn ideals outside of it, which is what
Angus,
is great about.
Well, Angus, that's not even in the United States. In Europe, hell, the French President Macron during the I can't remember what celebration it was that Trump went to go visit, and Angela Merkel's there. It was commemorating something about World War I, and he tried to say nationalism and populism was the cause of World War I, and that globalism is the future. And it's like, no, you have that completely backwards.
Yeah, It was the alliances and yeah, you're right.
Well, I don't want to
But
get into the politics.
Well, I didn't want to get into that. I was just pointing out the point of these people have such a warped and distorted view of history, and it's like, what is wrong with you?
Well, just to bring it back kind of to more entertainment and get out of the political view of things, I bring this up a few times on the show from time to time. I have anyway. If anybody has the Looney Tunes box set, has a Blu-ray or DVD,
Oh yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg basically flat out tells you why everything what we're saying here is important and what we're just saying now. And that is, if you censor the past, no matter how racist or wrong it is, you are doomed to repeat it.
Yes.
This is a common thing that's always coming at us. And it's like, I don't care what your beliefs are on one side or the other, but this is one thing we have to hold that's true. And I feel like everybody should be able to express the way they feel through words, no matter how it is. Whether or not you can try and censor yourself in some way to where you don't offend somebody, that's great. But not everybody's going to be able to not offend somebody at some point. It's impossible.
Right, Tom. And actually, by creating like this world where people they can't speak freely about how they truly feel, and people aren't exposed to real ideas that are really out there. It's funny because they're doing this to end bigotry and what have you, but they're not changing anything. In fact, it's almost like if you put yourself in the shoes of someone who has like this anger inside and let's say is a racist, first of all, they're not going to change their viewpoint because of you censoring them and stepping on them. They're just going to get more set in their ways. It's going to fester, and it's going to go and spread in the dark corners of the web. And you actually create more racists than if you actually engage them in a dialogue and actually try to change their mind and look at them as maybe a human being, who just might have had a bad
their existence. Yeah, basically.
Well, because knowledge and information is the first line of defense against ignorance, right? So when people are left to their own devices without the information that they need to form coherent and reasonable thoughts, they go off and they find whatever psycho crazy stuff they can find, and then they go and they dwell on it, and they turn into absolute nutcases. That's why it's important to put honesty and truth and actual knowledge out there for people to be able to be as enlightened as possible. Because otherwise you wind up with these sects of crazy people off in the corner doing insane stuff, and then those kinds of movements are what's actually dangerous.
Well, let me break in. Let me point you to entertainment who today would be considered one of the most heinous people alive, but 20 years ago was one of the greatest comics to have ever lived. Who is it? George Carlin.
Oh, we bring him up all the time.
The great George.
He did his bits today. Oh my God, he'd be painted one of the greatest villains of the 21st century.
I even do a bit where he goes after the SJWs and the millennials and the hipsters.
He did in the 90s. Hey, you want to call you want to piss off a feminist? Call her a cum catcher. I'm quoting George Carlin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or one of his greatest things to piss off a feminist. Rape is funny. You don't think Porky Pig getting railed by Daffy Duck isn't hilarious?
Well, it's maybe
it's
not.
all about context, as George would say.
Yeah, it comes going in cycles.
He even brought that up.
It's all about going in cycles too, because Tom will remember, because you're as old as I am, and
Just
some of you on here. 20 years ago, we went through the same thing, almost to the freaking 1997, 1998, Lilith Fair, Girls Kick Ass. I mean, it wasn't as bad.
Well, you had the Democrats, and I hate to bring it up again, but because it gets political, but you had a lot of the Democrats, like Al Gore and his wife, and a few other people going after all kinds of artists for censorship.
Yeah, that was the PMRC.
Who is the new PMRC? The SJWs. That's it. The new Puritans out there.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's amazing how the Puritans flip from right to left, because I was also there in the 90s. In the 90s, the right was the Puritans. It was the religious Puritans. 20 years later, it's suddenly the left of the Puritans. And you're just sitting here scratching your head like, what the hell happened?
I think a lot of people who got college educations didn't understand it. They heard they were taught, hey, a white man or some white men did some bad things once, and here's how we can learn from it. And then they just hear white man bad because they're too busy texting, and they don't actually hear and process. And I also have to say this all the time, like, don't make me just who I sleep with or the color of my skin. That's so insulting. This is what they're doing in Marvel too. I have a half-hour video that's coming up soon where I just basically am saying equality before tokenism. You know, can we have
turning people into circus freaks?
Can we start treating people like people instead of like the color of their skin? Because I don't want to be just that white chick who eats pussy, and you know, whoever Tom doesn't want to be that white guy,
right?
You know,
well, as we said on the show, they're turning them into circus freaks. They're using people of color and of different sexual orientation
a lot,
just as basically they're trotting them out there like circus freaks. Say, look at this, we're diverse.
Yeah, well, Tom, here's a great one. Here's a great one. A man once said, and he's one of the greatest men. We have a holiday named for him, and he wasn't a president. Who said we should judge people not by what they look like, but the content of their character. And SJWs applaud him left, right, and center. Who is it? Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah, but
and
every time they do that, every time we have somebody who's like, "Hey, let's all get along and love each other," they kill him. You know, they'll stick one guy on a cross if you
John
Lennon, or John Lennon.
Mecca, that wasn't even the point. The point is,
getting back to like that circus freak thing that you were talking about. Like, I could not agree more with Mecca. The truth is that they take you. They don't actually care about who you are as a person, because God forbid there be a diversity of opinion among people who have different genders, different sexualities, right? Like, I'm in the same boat as Mecca. I'm a white oppressed female bisexual woman, right? So I must be oppressed, except you don't actually care what I think. You only care about what you can use my identity for,
they
right?
Push you out there like a dog boy and just say, "Hey, look what I found."
Legitimately offensive. That's legitimately offensive. And
that's what they're doing. That's exactly what we're trying to say they've been doing, and they don't get it. It's like when the whole Star Trek Discovery thing, like they're sitting here going, "Oh, we're so diverse, we do this, we got Mikey Spock, we got this." It's like, do you realize how you're shitting on, Nichelle Nichols' entire fucking legacy with this crap?
Exactly. And take it back to what Sith was saying earlier about racism. I've said this story before. My dad, all his life, vehement racist, loved Star Trek. Loved Nichelle Nichols. Looked at her when he watched original Trek. When he watched TOS, he was not seeing a black woman. He was, but he was seeing a character that he loved, and an actress that he loved. All three. And when TNG came out, he loved Michael Dorn. He fell in love with Michael Dorn, the actor, the character, everything. He all these characters in Trek about the future, about us finally finding equality and being the best that humans can be and striving to be the best that we can be. And here he is at the end of his life. Because of the love that he has had for this franchise, he is finally turning his mind. He's finally changing. He's finally saying, "You know what? I can't be a fan of these people and be racist against black people at the same time." And now here he is at the end of his life, through entertainment, through this art, has finally made a soul-changing decision, had made a moral contradiction within him. And that's what a lot of the entertainment today has lost. It's teaching those, the philosophy, the higher art of it. And that's what we're losing.
The opposite now. I think it's going the opposite. I'm losing a lot of respect for actors, directors, producers, writers, celebrities. I have to block people or mute people on Twitter from Star Trek because their opinions are so out there and crazy. Like, I've gotten into it with Anthony Rapp a few times, and I'm like, dude, I'm on your side. I'm on your side. I'm for the equality.
Mecca, I actually got into it with Brent Spiner.
Yeah. We've gotten into it with
a few people. Two people have.
With Data?
Just kind of bring it back around.
Yeah, I got into it with Data.
Oh, jeez, that doesn't.
What?
To bring it back around to what Black Angus said before, though, about like John Wayne was a great example of how they're basically crucifying him right now without even really looking at it underneath the levels of what it really is. And we brought this up on the show, and I'm sure it's not going to be a popular opinion, but I said, look, what he said was actually pretty racist to most people. If you look at it, though, what he said when he said it in the context of when he said it, that's actually pretty progressive for somebody like him. Because he was basically saying, if there's a black part and it needs a black character, obviously I'm going to hire a black guy.
Right.
I mean, that was kind of where the question oriented from. It was like, Jesus.
The thing is with John Wayne, he was of the thing of he didn't think black people were of very high intelligence at that point. Saying that as a half white, half black man might get me in a little trouble, but he wasn't wrong. The education level for most African American people in the 1950s wasn't even middle school.
No, but he was coming from a racist point of view from a time that he came from, that he was raised in. And that's what I was trying to bring up, was the context is key.
Yes.
Exactly.
Context
He-
is
he was-
fucking key.
Context is key.
And
Yes.
the fact that he was progressive enough to say at that time period that, yes, I would hire black people, even though it's not the popular thing to do, they're not looking at that aspect of it. Oh, no, they're just looking at the rest of what he said.
Yeah, like
yeah, exactly. I mean,
they
like I think
ignore-
one time he got an interview where, hey, would you want to play, maybe an army colonel with, the Buffalo Rough Riders? And you're like, yeah, I have to hire a bunch of black guys, but like, why would you? Well, if you want to talk about the Buffalo Soldiers, you guys look like the freaking Buffalo Soldiers.
Well, and the wonderful thing about not the wonderful thing about racism, but the wonderful thing about progression is that everything's in shades, right? Like, so for the time that, you have people back in the 40s, 50s, 60s or whatever, their measure of racism was so incredibly progressive as to say, like back in the 1800s when you have slavery going on and nobody has the ability to do anything, right? Like black people are completely and utterly shut out. So it's completely and utterly progressive at that point. And 50 years from now, the way that we are and how much progress we've made and how far we've come from that horrible state of racism that was 50 years ago. And it was racist, but for the time, it was incredibly progressive. 50 years from now, they'll look back at us and they'll say, yeah, that was pretty racist. Thank God we're not that bad anymore.
Yeah, like
I don't disagree.
The thing they don't think about is if you just do a quick wiki search on John Wayne, that's why I point out, it's like he's born in 1907, Iowa. I grew up in Oklahoma in the 90s and 2000s, and you still had people that were like pre-Vietnam and being backwoods town about their racism, but it was one of those like, yeah, uncle this or grandpa that, they think that way, but you're just kind of waiting for that generation to die. And that was kind of the resigned view, and then all of a sudden, post 2012 or so, it starts getting weird like it is now, and then just Trump has amplified that, and it's crossed into the entertainment, even though they were already getting in there when we weren't really realizing it or really calling it out, and now it's just biting us in the ass.
Well, Angus, you know what the most hilarious thing is right before Obama got elected, Morgan Freeman was doing that interview, and he's like, well, how do you deal with racism? And Morgan Freeman's like, just don't talk about it. I'm a guy, you're a guy, we're just two guys talking.
Right.
All right. Yep. But we are going. Hey, hold on. So we are going to close out now a little bit. A couple people on the panel said they got to head out pretty soon. So we're just going to. It's been a great conversation, though. It's been going on fire. I love it. Love the passion with all this. Is great. Sith said you got to go like right now. So you want to do plug your channel? Say anything? Last words?
Yeah, sure. I just want to say one thank you, Rookie, for inviting me on with these great people. This actually was a really great conversation and one that I definitely needed to have, and I appreciate it. Tom, it was nice. I believe this is our first time stringing together. If not, I'm very sorry for not remembering.
But I think, yeah, that's all right.
All right. Yeah. But anyway, it's good to talk to you. Mecca, it's a pleasure as always. I believe the last time we streamed together was on Geeks and Gamers. Same with Nerdrotic. But either way, it was a pleasure to talk to you guys.
Cheers.
And yeah, Mary, you're there. Jeff, you're there. No, Mary.
I'm just here.
I love that.
But no, Jeff, Angus, Rookie, Mary, they're my home. They're my home squad. So they already know what's up. And Steve, it was nice to talk to you too, man. Good luck with your book. And everybody watching, I appreciate it. And I just dropped a video today on my channel about Wonder Woman 84. And
yeah, be sure to leave a thumbs down on it.
Yeah, please definitely leave a thumbs up though.
Sith will cry if he sees too many thumbs down.
Oh, we'll deal with the crocodile tears.
Yeah. Thanks
I'll
for coming, man. Definitely,
Uh,
he's got great talent, man. Check Sith Kryptonian out. He is the bomb.
Thank you. All right, I won't take up any more time. Peace out, guys.
All right, later,
Take it
man.
easy, Sith.
Later.
To quote Luke Skywalker, go away.
Oh no! There's a quote now. That is a quote now. Oh no!
Oh God!
So Jake Skywalker.
So bad.
Oh god.
Bad. But all right, yeah, this has been great. It's been awesome. It's been good 2.5 hours. I think we've been going. I think we'll start winding down now. Gary at Nerdrotic, thank you so much for coming by as the special guest. You said you got to head out real soon. You want to give a closeout? Any last statements? Anything?
Sure. Let me get my camera back on. Been
face.
uploading on the website. So look, yeah, but been ignoring my website the last couple days. So you're going to see about 12 uploads in the next couple hours. Sorry. But yeah, everybody, thanks for being on. It's nice talking to Mecca and Mary and Geoff and Black Angus and everybody else. Tom too, even Tom. And I look forward to the Fandom Menace book. I cannot wait to read that. That's so exciting.
Thank you, Gary.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so we need to just real quick, band together, keep doing this, make videos. You know what? Ignore the algorithm on this one. The more of us make videos, the more YouTube is going to see it, and we have to back everybody on this one, even people we disagree with. Even was it Ashley Tyler who made a video about Mecca and me and EVS, and then we got to support her too, because we're all in this together. We got to stop it here on this platform. We can't think about going anywhere else because they'll just chase us down there. So we'll keep up the good fight, and hopefully we'll be here, 6 months from now, laughing about the whole thing. But probably
hopefully.
Yeah.
I do hope.
Now we're all collecting in around bunkers. If enough of us know how to keep in touch.
Actually, but yeah.
Hey, Gary.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
you and me, we'll have to get on a live stream and talk about the Bay Area, because it'd be fun to talk about the Bay Area, someone who actually lives there.
Yeah, it's not the same barrier it was 10 years ago. It's really different around here. But the tech bubble's about. I was listening to Tim Pool today, and I agree with him. The tech bubble is about to burst, so I'm like looking to probably move before that happens, so I can get the maximized value out of my house and get the hell out of California.
I'd recommend Vegas. I'd recommend going to Vegas. It's just like California without all the bullshit.
I do love Vegas. I'll be there in a couple months. And so will Mecca. We're gonna be there for the Star Trek event.
I might be there if I win the Star Trek Online competition, because they're giving away 2 tickets. So who knows? Maybe I'll show up. I entered, so fingers crossed.
I'm gonna have my Justice for Anas shirt. I got 4 different Justice for Anas shirts I'm going to wear each day.
Nice.
And we'll see how that goes.
All right, just checking real quick. Do you have a few minutes to hang with us while we close out, or do you got to go right now?
No, I'll hang.
Okay, sweet. So, Mecha Random. You got any final closing words? Anything you want to promote? Go ahead.
Well, I've got a video over there. Sorry, I said it to premiere on top of this. Equality over diversity. We got to start treating everybody with respect and learning from opposing opinions. This is why I watch a lot of the stuff I do, because I'm curious what people have to say other than my own opinion, even though my opinion is right and always will be right. We got to learn how to work together and compromise on some of these things, because we can't evolve as a species and move forward if we're just at each other's throats and forget where we've been and what we've been through. And yeah, YouTube, fix your crap. Seriously, YouTube, fix your crap and give me more money.
Amen.
I was going to bring up during the stream that in YouTube's email to me, their creator monthly thing, they said they were concerned about Article 17, and they were worried of the vague, untested requirements that they have. And I'm like, so kind of like YouTube?
Yeah. I thought that was funny. When they're talking about the European Union, they're like, those rules are really vague and they're hard to work in. It's like, oh, funny.
I'm like,
life comes at you fast.
Description.
But fun thing, Nerdrotic. Poland's already pretty much said that according to their own national constitution, all those articles that just got voted in by the EU is unconstitutional in Poland. I thought that was hilarious.
God bless Poland.
Yep. All right. Yeah. Then Black Angus reviews. Black Angus reviews. The Angus of our diversity. I always do that. I don't know why. I like to roll the Black Angus reviews. Go ahead, man. Do your thing.
Yeah, as you know, you're on the stream the other day. And I was talking about it yesterday when I was hanging out with John Tux and Wyatt Holiday and Red Gaze. I'm working on a Raylo video because we had a good amount of people in our ranks covering the Raylo panel, and then none of you fuckers followed up with that channel that uploaded. So I've done the dirty work and listened to this garbage, this soy, and I'm going to try to be a bit educational, tell you what they said, tell you why it's another reason to be scared for Star Wars' future, and hopefully have some EVS-style humor with it to trigger the Raylos that might swing on by. I got a great trigger right off the bat, first 30 seconds. They're like, oh, fuck this guy, so I hope to maybe get so many comments like Drunk 3PO. He did that compilation of the best hits from detractors. But no, I'm having fun, and I'm trying to get more comics gay with people like I did yesterday. Go check out that stream and look at that Indiegogo. It's premiering 24th, Ardana, issue number 0. And you get to meet Wyatt on his second stream. It's getting fun in Comicsgate. We're getting steady, and I'm hoping to build rapport that way. By the time I create my thing, I might have some people actually buy it.
That's good. And you're also the head of the pre-Senate subcommittee on Fridays before Sith Kryptonian's the Senate, which he also does.
Yeah, I haven't really sold that because Sith's always,
I know, but now he's
around.
back, so now you can actually say that. So
Pre-Senate subcommittee episode, I think 13 will be Friday.
It's like a high council, but on Fridays, and with Sith and his friends, and then Angus brings on whomever before that, gets it all hype up for the next one, and they help each other out with that. It's a cool stream duo, back to back on Fridays.
Yeah, and next Wednesday I might have Jesse Milestone on for a Utter Chaos. So
sweet.
Well, if you need some help with that, Angus, I can help because I do have her direct number.
All right. Yep. And speaking of the wolf, our man who howls to the void to see Will howl back, Geoff TheIronWolf. Go ahead, man.
Thanks, Rookie. Rookie, thanks for having me on. I actually got to hit 3 people I wanted to stream with off my bucket list, being Nerdrotic, Mecca finally, and Tom. So
that's so weird being on somebody's bucket list. I'm not going to get over that. That's cool. Thanks.
Well, I'm a big fan of yours, Gary. I mean, I love your stuff.
Thanks. There's people out there who'd like me to kick the bucket, but
well, Gary, I mean, granted, when you and Doomcock were doing your things, I did have a little beef about the aesthetics of the Battle of Winterfell, but I also agreed with that the entire episode was stupid. And if you go on the channel, oh god damn it.
You I can still hear you. We still hear you, but you cut out a little. Your headphones?
Sorry, I had a little technical difficulty there.
He's a truck driver, by the way, guys. So he's on the road, guys, headset and stuff. So that's where we're getting the trucker mic. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyways, but no, I was trying to pump up the Fandom Collective channel. I put up where I break down the entire Battle of Winterfell, where people do stupid stuff like the Army of the Living. Oh, the tactics and strategy of the Army of the Living, the Battle of Winterfell.
I have a probably it's going to be a 2.5 hour, 2 hour season 8 review I'm working on. I have to finish Star Trek Discovery season 2, where I'm going to point out every time a white guy was stupid. It's taken quite a while. And and I got I'll look forward to that. We could debate that. Because go just watch episode of Hardhome, which is directed by Sapoknik.
Oh, I've watched the entire series, and I've actually brought up
in detail.
I actually brought up Hardhome, but the thing is, like, Jeff Hicks, of World Class Bullshitters, wanted me to take movies where they have military stuff and break it down from my point of view as a Marine. So for June, I'm going to break down everything the Colonial Marines did wrong in Aliens from a United States Marine point of view. Like all the bad military decisions where I'm just going to go, that's stupid, that's wrong, that's stupid, that's wrong. They never do this.
Like where they have flamethrowers on the spaceship?
Oh, they used to hire consultants for that thing, and you think Cameron would have. Although he's pretty anti-military, anti-war. So
but just to give you a brief example, the Sulaco, they would never send a ship as big as it is. I mean, we're talking, ships that are bigger. That ship's bigger than some of the ships in the Halo universe to transport 18 people. They'd never do that.
Yeah. I forgot to say.
Anyway, that's me.
That's the Iron Wolf. I forgot to say real quick. Congrats on 100K, Gary.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, definitely.
You stole my thunder. I was going to use my point of. When you told me
thanks, guys.
My channel,
Rookie, I need to bounce out, so I'll catch you guys all later. It was fun being on.
Take care, Jeff.
Later.
You Wolf. I want
go ahead, Tom.
I've never been so happy in my life to say I fucking told you so to somebody.
And we'll
smiling from ear to ear right now because I was fucking right. I told him about a year and a half ago now, almost year at least, almost. You watch, you're gonna be big, buddy. You got it. You got whatever it is that you need to make it on YouTube, and there he is. Congratulations, Gary.
Thank you.
100,000. And you did, I mean, I know you had some other help along the way, but let's face it, you did most of that yourself. So you deserve all the gratitude. You deserve everything you're getting because, like I told you, you're doing what everybody needs right now. Straightforward, honest.
No shilling, no bullshit,
Yep.
no shilling.
So congratulations,
Thanks, guys. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird, but it's fun, and thank you. And it's thanks to you shouting me out, Mecca shouting me out all the time. Never gonna forget that. Doomcock, our buddy Doomcock. We need to, all of you. Mecca will get here for sure. Doomcock will get here. Tom, we'll get you making videos, man. We'll get you here.
Yeah.
And you're part of Midnight's Edge. You're part of the fucking great Midnight's Edge. I mean, you're a huge part
I'm
of
not
that.
so worried about myself. Yes.
Whatever. Your Godzilla videos, the Godzilla videos were the shit.
Thank you. And they were rushed.
So good.
I'm glad to hear so many people.
It does not show. Those were so fucking good.
We made a few mistakes, but yeah.
Those I pretty much listened to I listened to your happy birthday, by the way. I'm sorry I couldn't join that. I would have even come on and sung. I would have tried.
It happens.
But yeah, I listened to Midnight's Edge almost the whole way down. I was listening to your Godzilla videos, and then your live stream started on my drive back from the desert. You helped me stay awake and
Our terrible karaoke stream. Oh no.
Yep. It was brilliant. I dug it. You guys are great. Mary can sing really good too.
Mary.
Oh yeah, she's so good. She's so good. I get so nervous singing around her because she's so good.
You did a great job. Mecca, I know. You have somewhat of the insecurity thing, and for you to do that is huge. It's freaking great.
I was telling her earlier, she's a bloody double threat. She's sitting there playing guitar and singing.
Yeah.
Like, dude, my friend Robin was just the same way. And it took me years to get her to the point. You are so good. Do not rob us of the enjoyment of watching you perform.
Yep. You're an entertainer.
Oh no. I try my best.
That's great. That's great. And then author Stephen Walton, the Fandom Menace book author. What's up, man? Give us anything you got to say, last words, anything you're promoting, of course, your book, but anything else?
Yeah, I'll pitch something, but first I want to say thank you guys for having me on. I feel like a person in the chat who's on a panel with some of my favorite people to listen to on YouTube. Want to say thank you, Rookie. Fandom Menace Volume 1, I'm hoping to have it out in 2 months' time. I'm talking with somebody about producing a cover, and I'm still waiting for a little material to come back. I also want to say thank you to Mecha Random 42. She was the very first person to allow me to help me with this book, to have a chapter dedicated to her. And I just wanted to say thank you for that, Mecca. That meant a lot to me when you agreed.
You. Oh my God, I'm so flattered that anybody wants to include me in anything. I'm like,
I've been a fan of yours for a long time, and I shot you out that one time just to say thank you, and we got to exchanging words a few times, but I just, now that I got a chance to, want to say thank you in person, as in person as it can get. I also want to give a shout out to all the other people all the other YouTubers that have helped me with this book, and that's Doomcock at Overlord DVD, Mecha Random 42, Odin's Movie Blog, Ruin the Man Baby, Stephanie Janisic, Kiri Howard, Mindless Entertainment, Black Angus Reviews, The Rookie Critic, Drunk 3PO, and The Gospel According to Mark with a C. These are all great channels. Please subscribe to them if you haven't already. And also wanted to say, Gary, been a fan of yours forever. I got a fanboy for a minute while I got the chance. I'm sorry. Congratulations on 100,000 subs, and I've been a fan of yours for so many months I can't even remember.
Thanks.
But I really love your work. I love Exozone. Can't wait for you and Doomcock to get together and do another one. And Tom, I love your stuff. I love your commentary. Mary, thank you for having me on and doing an interview with me. Same with Black Angus. Thank you so much for having me on, doing an interview with me. And I'm available if anybody would like to have me on. I don't want to beg or ask, but if you feel so gracious as to ask me to come on and be on a panel for any reason, I really appreciate it, and thank you. So that's it. Yeah.
Hey, can you email me? You probably, if you have, I apologize. My inbox has been insane, but please email me at GaryNerdrotic.com. We'll get you on like ASAP.
All right. That sounds great. Yeah. I'd also like to say, my book has the official endorsement of Jeremy Griggs now. So got Geeks and Gamers behind us. And I just wanted to punch that card.
Yeah, no, definitely we could talk about it, so I can I'll just shout it out as much as humanly possible. So
yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you,
Gary.
Gary.
No problem.
Perfect. I love this. And now, last but not least, the Mistress of Mayhem, Mary Mayhem.
Aw, you're so sweet. Well, hi guys, I am Mary B, and I am the Mistress of Mayhem. You can find me over my channel where I do what some would call a decent job at disrupting narratives and bringing a little bit of mayhem. I use my whammon card regularly, and every once in a while I whip out the buy card. It's just basically what I do over there is I just do my best to kind of combat, just like the rest of these fine folks, these ridiculous narratives that, oh, white man bad, or straight people are terrible, or whatever, you know, like there's just a nonsense SJW movement that's seeping into all of the entertainment that we love, and I'm doing my best to combat that. And I also do what I can to kind of bring a little fun back to the fandom menace. So on weekends you can find me usually hanging out with Mecha Randall and Tom over here. We do little shenanigans or karaoke, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we do.
I have a lot of
improv night. We have improv night in the Fandom Menace and karaoke night and all the cool stuff. So
yeah, man, we have a lot of fun, and you can find them acting silly. They are shooting star streams, which means you either catch it as specifically shenanigans as a shooting star stream, so you can catch it while it's going. Do what?
Rib spreaders.
No, that was the old days, Angus.
So you either catch it while it's going or it's gone forever, because we do have our reputations to think about here.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, you can find me over on my channel.
If you want to say the stream tonight.
Do what? Oh, yes. So tonight I'm going to be doing what so many of us YouTubers are going to be doing. We're going to be talking about this whole controversy and this ridiculous demonetization, for lack of a better term, scandal, because that's what this really is. You can't tell people what to do, or you can't tell people they're screwing up but not tell them why. You can't tell people, oh, we're going to pull your monetization, but not tell them what it is that they have to do in order to apply to the guidelines, right? So all of us are a little worried. We're a little scared, but we're going to use our voices. We're going to make our stand here. We're going to draw the line, and we're going to say, no, not here, not now. You're not going to push us back any further. This is where we make our stand. And so I do believe it's important we use our voices. We're going to have Drunk 3PO on, Rookie Critic of all people. Look at you. I'll see you shortly. And then Abu Nas will be joining me as well. So I think a great time for this poignant conversation.
Hell yeah. Looking forward to it. Yeah, that about covers it. I thank everybody in the panel that's come on today. This has been really fun, really great. I really appreciate the audience, the chat, everybody in the chat. Seriously, go check each other out. There was over 60 people, 70 people at one point. There's so many good content creators in here. I want people to discover each other. You never know. You'll find somebody that could have 200 subs today, could have over 1,000 subs tomorrow, and one of the best content creators in the community. Who knows? Yeah, that's all I pretty much gotta say. I always take forever to wrap these up, but I'll just exit out now. Have a good day, guys. And